Guess who's living rent free? Yeah, it's me, Zeus. I'm feeling good, everything's alright. I got my head high, and I'm shining all bright like a light. Walking down the street, people looking at me, and I don't really care what they say, cause I'm living rent free. Yeah, I said I'm living rent free. Yeah, I said I'm living rent free. Yeah, and I don't care what they say, cause I'm living rent free. La la la, can't nobody bring me down. La la la, standing tall and proud. La la la, living life how I wanna. La la la, can't nobody tell me I can't. I got my crew with me, we're unstoppable. Making moves and achieving the impossible. Haters gonna hate, but we don't listen. We're gonna keep doing what we do and keep winning. Life's too short to be living in fear. Gotta take chances and persevere. Don't let nobody hold you back, keep pushing forward. Stay on track, don't make me have to play it back. I'm living rent free in your mind. I'm here to stay. Don't waste your time. You thinking you can evict me? No, I'm taking up space, cause guess what? I'm the star. I'm feeling good, everything's alright. I got my head high, and I'm shining all bright like a light. Walking down the street, people looking at me.
How we all doing?
I don't care what they say, cause I'm living rent free. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing? Welcome to the infamous closet of truth, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, the reason that I decided to go live, I was gonna take the rest of the NXS greetings. All right. This is a little bit of something different. I know I wasn't gonna go live and hello Zena and talk about this any more than what I talked about earlier today. But I went into a conservative live, all right, and it seems that the Trump supporters, MAGA, once again have found a way to portray themselves as the victims, right? All right, they're portraying themselves as the victims right now. Yeah. So we have this animal, this person in Maine, this male in Maine who is still on the loose, terrorizing the community, right? And you talk to the folks on the right, and they say, oh, he had mental health issues, right? They said this guy had mental health issues. And then they want to start talking about crime happening at the border, right? And so I go into the live and I'm talking to these folks and I'm going, well, isn't it convenient that you want to talk about the folks coming in at the border? What's the issue? And they said, Zeus, the issue is at the border, we don't know those people who are coming in. They could be criminals. They could be doing some nefarious things, right? And I said, well, here's the deal. Here's the deal, folks. The terrorists that you are trying to say are coming through our border, that's not the biggest threat to our country right now. That's not what most people are worried about. What most people are worried about are these folks that are sitting at home, getting armed. All right, they're armed. These are some very dangerous people, and they're radicalized, right? All right, and so when you start talking to these folks, you got to ask them real questions, right? Like who exactly? Who exactly is terrorizing America, ladies and gentlemen? All right. And it's Donald Trump and his supporters, right? All they do is promote hate. They promote violence. And then they sit on the sideline and try to blame people of color and minorities as though we're the ones causing the problem. Cindy, you can say that all you want, all right, but the numbers don't add up. When you look at this country and you look at who's been causing all of the terrorist attacks in the United States, all right, hands down, there's only one demographic of folks that are doing this, all right? It's the ones riding around with those flags that say Trump 2024 on them, all right? Name one time you heard of a migrant doing what we see these animals doing. You can't ever mention it. You can try to say it's President Biden all you want, but you'll be lying. All right? You'd be lying to do this. All right? Now this animal, ladies and gentlemen, all right? there's information that has came out. Thank you, Zena. There's information that has came out, and again, none of the Trump supporters out there, they have the courage or conviction to get in the box and talk to me to defend this. This isn't the morning show, okay? You're more than, if you disagree with what I'm saying, you are more than welcome to get in the box and try to defend the indefendable. I really do want to hear what you have to say, all right? But listen, this individual, all right, this was rehearsed. Vote blue, yes. This individual, this was a rehearsed act of violence. What's indefensible? What's not indefensible? Defending this individual, and you know, by the way, he was a Trump supporter, right? They got him on. They got proof this guy was a Trump supporter, folks. I mean, listen, they could try to sit here and say that, Zeus, you're over here spewing nonsense. I don't think this is nonsense, all right? Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The suspect, Robert Card, what did he do? He's on social media, and what is he doing? He likes Don Jr., he likes conservative media, right? So MAGA, why don't you take ownership of this? You know, they say, Zeus, don't try to bring race into it. It looks like a white guy to me. I mean, a white T person to me. All right? It looks like that to me. And they say, Zeus, why are you making it about race? I say, well, here's the deal. You stop crying about what's going on at the border. How about you stop making those lies and stop talking about what's going on at the border? You know who you are. You know exactly who you are. You know, they get in their feelings when we start holding the mirror up and talking to them, and we're saying, this is you. This is why we have to get up here day in and day out. Yeah, he was YT. This is why we have to get up here day in and day out and show Trump supporters just exactly what kind of violence they're doing to this country. Look at what they did to George Floyd. You know who you are. Yeah, it is struggles. Yes. Yeah, let me see. Look at what they did to George Floyd. Was that a Democrat that did that to George Floyd, or most likely was it a Trump supporter? Right? These folks sit around here and they really try to portray themselves as victims. They're tearing this country up. And then they go and then they get onto their little platforms and say, well, Zeus, don't you dare bring race up. Why can't I bring race up? You talk about it. Snuggles. Where's Snuggles at? Yeah. Let me give him an opportunity to explain himself, because none of his friends can come in here and defend him. All right? They can't come in here and defend what he's spewing on his platform. All right? Cindy, tell Snuggles to come on, bring his special behind in here and listen to this special broadcast. All right? I sent him an invite. I want him to come in here and tell me it's not about race when it really is. All these millions of minorities who've been suffering in this country at the hands of these domestic terrorists, and you have the audacity to get on camera today and say this isn't about race? Excuse me? What country is it in? Was it about race when you were talking about those Iranians? Was it about race when you were talking about the terrorists who hit our buildings on 9/11? Is it about race when you're talking about not supporting the funding in Ukraine? Is it about race when you're talking about the Palestinians? Why is it never about race when it involves your behind? But then everything else is about race. Yeah, MAGA, this is why I do what I do. There he is right there, Snuggles. Yeah, it's just you. Good greetings.
Greetings, my buddy. How you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. I'm all right. You know, now you're in the kingdom. You're in the Thunderdome. All right. So
Yeah.
it's been bothering me for your statement. And normally what you say doesn't really get to me, but this one really got
Right.
to me.
Oh, I did see that. Yes.
Yeah. Why do you think it's not about race? And, and,
It's not.
and I know the interesting thing is I've known you for a while, and
Absolutely.
you're Latin, right? You have Latin heritage, right?
It doesn't matter. I'm God's child.
Right. But
Yes.
but
We're
but
all created equal.
in your opinion, Snuggles, honestly,
Right. Absolutely.
you don't see race as being involved in this at any level?
No.
From the moment this individual was able to get the firearm, you don't think race had anything to do with this?
Absolutely not.
What about all of the stuff going on where people of color have been terrorized by folks like this
White
all
people
throughout
white
American
people have been
history.
terrorized too. It's a narrative. It's a
What?
story.
So you're saying
It's a
white
story
people have been
created by hate.
terrorized? Wait.
Go
I need
ahead.
to unpack this.
Yeah,
So
unpack it.
your stance on the issue is white people have been terrorized just as much as people of color. So
Absolutely.
it's and what evidence do you have to support that?
Look at the story. People have to create a
No.
story about race. It's a hate. That's the story. And people buy into it. You're sold on it. I'm not sold on it. We're God's
Well,
children.
well, no. I don't
I know you're
necessarily buy
not.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just going to focus on the story and be evil. But go ahead.
Well, no. What I'm trying to get you to understand is this.
There's nothing to understand. We're
How
human
many how
beings.
many So let me ask you this: how many mass shootings have you witnessed since you've been in the United States?
It's not about mass shootings. It's not
No,
about.
no,
It's
no.
about evil. Okay, people. You and I. We don't wake up and decide, hey, this morning I'm going to have breakfast and then I'm going to go out and shoot a bunch of people and then I'm going to come home for dessert if I make it. No, That's what they decided to do at the time. Doesn't matter what color. It was a white person that went in and shot people at a bowling alley. Okay, so let's
Okay.
not put race into this, bro.
No. Okay. So what's wrong with you saying exactly what it was? Why can't you just say it was a white person that did it, and it was a white man that did it?
You're
Why
the
is that
one that
so
mentioned
hard?
race in my
No,
life, not
no.
me.
Why? No. Why is that so hard for you to do?
What's hard
And
about it?
the reason that I say that to you, Snuggles,
Right.
honestly, is because you've been harping on the folks coming in this country from the border, right?
Absolutely.
And as far as I'm concerned, that's being racist.
No, it
And
isn't.
you have no problem talking about these people. And I just don't understand how can you pick on folks that can't even defend themselves so
Right.
easily?
Okay.
And then sit I
Okay.
mean,
So
you have no evidence that these folks are really criminals.
right.
You
So
actually are buying into the
okay.
program.
So when I gave that example about the Usos, they're Samoan. They went to Canada. They had a DUI on their record. They wouldn't let them into Canada. So Homeland Security reported their crimes to Canada, and the Usos had to go back home. So they're Samoan. So Canada's racist, right? Because they have a
No.
felony.
I didn't I
Right?
no. What
I
I'm
don't want
getting at,
criminals coming into this country. It has nothing, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, anything. I don't want criminals coming in this country. I
right,
showed
but what about
videos.
the
I showed
I don't
videos
think there's
of a
anybody.
Palestinian woman telling us that the United States of America is terrorists.
But
Okay, they're telling
Snuggles,
us
I
that they
don't
want.
think
They're telling us that
Snuggles,
we, the American people, are terrorists. Has nothing
Snuggles,
to do with racism. You're the race baiter right now. Go ahead.
Snuggles. Do you think I want criminals coming in this country?
Yeah, exactly. You do because you.
No.
Yeah,
Do you think do you
you
cuz
want criminals come.
Snuggles,
No, there's a
I've
difference
never
between you and
said
me.
that.
You said
I've
no,
never
there's a
said
difference.
I
You
want
want criminal
criminals to come in this country.
right, you
I've never Snuggles. I've never ever said that. So why on earth would you say I
well,
said
I don't
that?
want criminals coming to
See,
this country too,
well,
right?
okay. I
We're
get
saying the
that,
same damn thing.
okay,
You're
but no,
race
we're not.
baiting it.
No, we're not.
Right? Yes,
We're
we
not
are.
saying Snuggles. You are race
No.
baiting
I
at
didn't say
best.
anything. You're the one that's what's coming out of your mouth. Racism. Well, Snuggles, you want black people and blue people and whatever. I didn't say any of that. I said I don't want criminals coming to my country,
Snuggles,
just like you told me.
what is race baiting to you? What is race baiting to you? If me
You
speaking up for
using
people who
race.
can't
You using
listen.
race.
If me speaking up for people of different colors is
No.
race
Well, you're
baiting, then
speaking
darn
up.
it, yes, I'm
I don't
race
know what you're
baiting.
speaking up for. You're just stuck. I think you're just stuck in the
I
past.
think
You're stuck with all the
well,
ancestry and oppression. That's what I think you're doing.
yeah, and so
Right? You're
that guess
buying the
what?
story.
Guess what that means to me? That means to me that
Nobody
you
buys your
are in.
story. You're buying a
Listen,
story of oppression.
Snuggles.
Go
What that
ahead.
means to me is
Yeah.
that you are enabling this.
No, I'm not enabling anything. You're stuck with
Yeah, you are.
oppression. And
You
that's
no,
we're ancestors of
no.
today and you want to be stuck in the past.
How am I trying to be stuck in the past?
Because you keep bringing up race and you keep calling people racist and you keep
Is
race
it?
baiting people. That
I've not
that's your normal thing.
Snuggles. Have I ever told you you were racist?
Yes, you did.
When?
You just said about the border. And then you called
No,
me
I said
you said about the border and black and brown
no.
people. That's what you
No.
said in my last live.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. I
Right.
said, don't tell me to not bring up race when you
Right.
keep bringing up race.
Well, you're the
That's
one
not
that
the
brought it
same
up.
thing as,
I came
listen,
into the
that's not the
box
same thing as,
innocently.
listen, that's not the same thing as me calling you to your face a racist.
Right.
Now, you've known me for all these years, and I've gone to bat for you. I have
Absolutely.
never, ever called you a racist, because then that would mean I'm
Then
just as
why did you
ridiculous
ask
as
me that
you.
question about people at the
Because,
border? Why
because,
can't I be
because I'm
concerned
trying to
about the
help,
border?
because I'm trying to help you understand something.
What are you helping me with? I'm not asking for your
Listen,
help.
listen up, listen up, listen up to what I'm saying. All right?
Right. Go ahead.
You keep harping on the border issue, immigration.
Right. I don't want criminals coming through the border.
And the way you talk, when you talk like that, is racist.
Oh,
And
come on.
I don't think
You
you're
just told me the same thing. Then you're racist if you don't want criminals come through the border. You're saying the same thing I'm saying. So you're a racist
Snuggles.
too.
No,
No, we're
I'm
both
not
saying the same
racist.
thing. Do you want people coming through the border that are criminals?
Snuggles.
Do you want no, you just told me you don't want people coming through the
I
border that are
I
criminal. Then you're a
I
racist.
just I just answered your question
And I answered your
earlier. And I
question too.
said I don't want criminals coming through
I
the
don't want
border.
criminals coming through the border
So
either.
so so let's slow this down then.
Okay,
Why
great.
would you make the statement
So-
I don't want criminals coming through the border if you're not trying to imply that the
right.
people coming through the border are criminals?
Because
Why would you make that?
Americans can't fly to other countries without getting their crime mentioned to the countries they're flying to. So the same rule should apply. We don't know what's coming through the border. Prisons are being emptied
Okay.
at
Well,
South
hold on.
America, and they're coming to America.
So there could be good people coming through the border because you don't know.
It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
No. If you
criminals.
don't know what's coming through the border, you
Right.
don't know. You
Then
sound
they shouldn't
so you're
come.
being ignorant.
No, I'm not.
If you don't know what's coming through the border, how can you imply they're criminals?
Because we don't have people. You didn't listen to the whole live because we don't have places to put everyone that's coming through the
Okay,
border.
that's a
They're
different
sitting at
argument,
airports on
Snuggles.
floors. They're sitting in tents in the city of Chicago, and you want to just bring them here and put them in a tent. How nice, Zeus. You're the nicest person. Welcome. We're going to put you in the tent next to the homeless person.
No,
Wow,
but
that's humanitarian.
okay,
That's very humanitarian of you.
that's interesting. But the point I'm trying to
Right.
make sure we understand is you
Right.
don't know who's coming through the border.
Right.
So
We
stop
absolutely
calling
know.
them criminals. No. So why do you call them criminals if you
I didn't
don't
call
know?
everybody criminals. That's you
So
calling. That's
why do you?
you
Okay,
narrating my situation.
okay. So they're not criminals.
I don't want criminals coming through. You don't want criminals coming
Oh,
through. That's
okay.
exactly what I'm
We
telling
agree
you.
on that. We
Right.
agree on that. So me and you both agree that we don't want criminals coming
Right.
into the country. Let's not have that conversation again. That's like we're going to keep going in circles about that. I
Absolutely.
want to
Good
make
job.
sure we can understand this.
Good.
Not everybody coming into this country is a criminal.
Right. We're
You
saying the
agree
same
with
thing.
that?
Yeah.
No, you agree that not everybody is coming that's coming into
Right.
this country is a
Absolutely.
criminal. Okay. So let's stop right there.
Right.
Because I can agree with you on that. But
Right.
I'm going to say this. And the reason race came up in your platform is because from my vantage point, from the
Right.
way that I see things in my life,
You
all
saw
right?
it wrong.
No, you can't tell people how they see how they see their reality or experience life. No one I
Did you
can't tell
go through
you
those people? Did you go what
Snuggles,
your
Snuggles,
ancestors went through
Snuggles,
in your life?
Snuggles. I
Yeah.
can't tell you what you're living isn't real.
Okay.
You understand that, right?
Absolutely.
There's over 130 plus million people on this in this country alone. You will not ever
330
be able
million.
to experience. Listen, you will never be able to experience what another individual on this planet experiences. Okay?
Okay.
But I want you to keep that in mind going forward, okay? Because when you say I don't want criminals coming into this country,
Neither
what
do
you're
you.
doing when you say at the border, what
You're
you're
saying the
doing
same
is
thing.
Snuggles.
Uh,
What you're doing is you're putting a target on these folks' back.
No, what you're doing the same thing. You don't want criminals coming through the border. So we're both giving the same message. You're absolutely wrong.
No, you're absolutely wrong.
What are you talking about? We're saying the same thing. Do you want criminals coming through the border?
I said we don't want criminals coming in this country, period.
That's me. That's what I'm saying too.
But we also said this. You don't know who's coming through that border. So
What
when
I'm
you make
trying
a
to say
blanket
is when you
statement,
come, when
you make a blanket statement like that, it comes across as racist.
When you're leaving a country, when you're leaving your country, you come as a family. You don't come as middle-aged men that are
You
soldiers.
don't know that, Snuggles. You don't
Sorry,
know.
you don't come as
Snuggles,
middle-aged men that are soldiers.
You
Sorry.
don't know that. You don't know
You don't
why
know
a
that
person
either.
would come across.
You don't
So
know
why
that
make
why
a
that
statement
either.
like that?
You
Why
don't
why make
know.
a statement
Did you
like
know that
that?
people were flying planes in the buildings and taking plane
No,
lessons
I
in
didn't.
America?
No,
Yeah,
I
you
didn't.
did. That's why I
No.
don't want that here. Middle-aged men who didn't bring their grandparents, their mothers, their children. I don't want middle-aged men. That's questionable. That
Mm,
doesn't have anything to do with race.
mm, mm,
Thank you. So I
mm.
want an apology because we both don't
Absolutely
want
not.
criminals in this country.
So if you don't want criminals in this country, let's just take that idea right there. What do you have to say about all of these folks who are radicalized and terrorizing Americans that are domestic, that are white? What do you got to say about those
Right.
criminals?
They're here in America. Yeah,
What do you got
we
to
got to
say
work.
about them?
I'm saying, didn't you hear what my live? You don't want. You're very selective listening when you come to my live, Zeus. I said we all need to be armed in America. They should make a law where we need to conceal and carry guns in everywhere we go. That should be the
See,
law.
you
That was
so
my
no no
point in
no
my
no.
live.
What I'm looking for, Snuggles, is
What are you
that
looking
same
for?
type of conviction.
I would like to see you at a store and see if you have that same point of view, saying, "Well, I should have had a gun." Because if you get shot, you should have had a gun.
This is far from one
You're
of
you're
those
easy when you
situations.
talk, but you weren't a person in that bowling alley, and neither was I. You're so
But
easy to
you,
talk, but you're not
but but
putting yourself in
but
their
you have
situation.
no answer, Snuggles. You have no answer for why you continue to target people that are immigrating in this country,
It's-
where you clearly don't know why they would come. You say things about people which is
I
absolutely
understand they
false.
come, but
You
when they're
don't
not
know,
coming with their
and
grandparents, if they're leaving their
it
country
doesn't
and they're not
it
coming with
doesn't
their
mean they're
grandparents,
criminals.
wives, mothers,
It
or
doesn't
children, then
Snuggles
they're
Snuggles.
not. Then
It
there's
does not
something
make them
serious
a
there.
criminal. Just
I
because you
don't
don't come
care.
with your family
I
doesn't
don't
make you a
care.
criminal.
No, come with your family if your country's so bad.
So you believe because they come in a way you don't recognize that makes them criminals.
Doesn't matter. I can have any view I want. What's you have your view, I have my view. Doesn't make us either bad people. I
It
respect.
actually
That's why I
does.
respect you and your views. I
It
don't
actually
opinionate. I don't
it
opinionate you. I don't opinionate me. People go into if a white person goes into a bowling alley and shoots somebody, or if a black person robs a gas station, we all should be armed so that we can defend everyone. It doesn't matter what race it is. That's what my live was about. We all need to be armed and ready so that way not a lot of people can get shot. I don't want you to get shot if you're walking in a bowling alley and we're bowling together because I won that Trump was president. That means that I'm protecting you. I don't want you gone off this earth because I love you. The same thing. It doesn't matter what race. I want us to come together and be armed if situations like that happen. We cannot control mental health by changing gun laws. If they decide they want to get up and go to a bowling alley and shoot people, or go into a gas station and shoot people in a gas station, whatever they do, it doesn't matter what race you are. We need to be armed and ready
You
because
think
I don't
that's the
want my
solution?
family or friends or anyone
Snuggles. Snuggles, honestly.
to do that.
You
And I
really
stand by that.
you really think the solution to
Yes.
what you're talking about
Yeah,
is the idea you're suggesting?
absolutely. Would 22? I would rather have less than 22 people get shot dead.
Yeah, but Snuggles, you're not addressing the elephant in the room, like I said when I went into your live.
What?
Those people you are aligned with, they
Right.
think what you're saying makes perfect sense. They don't see that
Your
they are the
people
ones
think
coming.
that what
They
you're saying here is perfect
listen. I
sense.
let you speak. I let you speak, right?
Okay, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
let you get off. I let you get off,
Go
right?
ahead.
What I'm trying to help you understand is there is a domestic terrorist threat in this country. All right? And those people are armed. You're not going to have enough weapons to go against these folks, Snuggles. This is an issue about people's
Oh,
what's going on up here.
oh,
This it starts up here, and it also has to do with the reality that these folks, they're being enabled. People are giving them excuses, saying that, oh, he had a mental health issue. I know a lot of women that carry weapons. You don't ever hear about a lot of women doing this, right?
right,
You don't.
right,
I've never heard about a bunch of migrants doing this.
right.
There's only one demographic that we all can agree keeps on doing this.
What
For the
demographic?
most part. Not,
What
not
what
saying
what
there aren't
what what
exceptions.
what
Not saying there
demographic?
aren't exceptions.
What demographic?
Donald Trump supporters.
Oh, okay. Now you're way out. You're so funny. You're so funny.
They Snuggles. This is
Right.
serious.
Right.
Most of them are white men. I'll give you that.
Oh, really?
Most of them are. They're
All
all
right.
about
What
carrying
about
their
gas
guns.
stations? How many gas stations get robbed across America? What ethnicity is that? We can go on and on about ethnicities. It doesn't matter
So
if
you're
it's one
talking.
person or two
You,
people shot.
you,
You add all the
you're
two.
talking.
You add up all the 2 or 3 people shot at a gas station. It adds up to about 22 people in Chicago. Okay, in a summer month.
So
So
you
let
see
me.
how
So
so Snuggles. This is I'm glad you did what you just did,
right, I'm
right?
glad you did what you did too. So white and black
And
people commit crimes with guns across America with mental health issues. We we
yeah.
we we solve this together. We're working together here. It don't matter.
So you see how every time I take you down this path
Right.
where we gotta look at the people responsible for doing what's going on.
Right.
Your mind goes to minorities and people of color. This
And
is the
you're
issue I'm talking
yeah,
about.
white is a color too, isn't it?
And to you,
Is
I'm
white a
race
color?
baiting. To you, I'm race baiting when I do that.
No, is white a color too? It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's a
seem. It
color.
seems like it's not in the
Yeah.
spectrum of what you think. What you think it is. Everyone has a gun that has mental health issues. Whether they want to rob a gas station because their situation isn't right in their life, or they have to get into a gang, so they have to go into a gas station and do whatever. I'm telling
But
you, I'm
why are
arming
you
up
so
and I'm
why are you
defending
so
myself.
okay? But why do you defend the white race
No,
so
I'm not
much?
defending the white race. I will shoot him down. I will shoot anybody down that puts a threat on my life or a group of people that are going on daily like you and me. We're not having mental health issues. People
Okay,
that
so
have guns
I
that
don't
want
want
to
to.
have intent to kill have
I
mental
don't
health
want to get
issues.
into that. I don't want to get into none of that
Why?
violence
Why?
talking. None of that because I don't want to talk violence.
Oh, that's not violence. It's called defense.
Okay,
There's a
okay.
difference between defending and people that actually want to do the crime.
I get it. I get it. You're into self-defense. And I think for the
Absolutely.
most part, everybody is into self-defense, Snuggles. Let's just
Absolutely.
wake up. Let's wake up
A lot
about
of
this.
talk in this crowd too down
We
below.
could
A
listen,
lot of
Snuggles.
talk.
We could throw a bunch of statistics and numbers out and talk about that all day until the cows go home. All right, but you go somewhere else for that. I want to talk to you about what's really going on out here.
Right.
All of these things, from everybody having ability to pack, right?
Right.
Everybody can arm up and get trained and should get certified and do this and that.
Absolutely.
Is it working? Is it working?
Nobody's doing it, but we should.
No. There's rules on the books about who can have them and who can't,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
Background checks. Everybody got one from what I understand. You know, guns,
Right.
the sales are high. So as far as I'm concerned, they're out there. People got access to them. So why
Right.
does this keep happening? Why do you
I
think it
have
keeps
not a
happening?
clue, but I
Mm, mm,
it would be
exactly.
one person in that bowling alley was an
Exactly.
undercover
So
police
no.
officer, and he could have just got.
Snuggles.
I don't know why he
Snuggles.
ducked low. What's up?
Snuggles. This is why it keeps happening. Because we're not addressing the real problem.
Well, what's the problem?
What I've been saying. You won't hold them accountable. Your friends that get out
What are you
here
talking about? I
and
won't hold them accountable. Who
well
are we talking? You can't title this MAGA because if you do, you're sounding stupid.
well, I might be sounding stupid, but it doesn't
Because
mean it's
it's a
not true.
Democrat or Republican that commit crimes.
I agree with you on
Give
that.
me
I
a
really do
break,
agree with
dude.
you on that. I do agree with you on that. But
God
listen,
dang. Leave the
there's
MAGA alone,
hatred.
dude. This is a serious
There's
thing that happened yesterday
Snuggles. This is hatred and bigotry, right?
at its finest.
Yeah. And what party do you think does a lot of that, in your opinion?
The Democratic Party, because they're the ones talking about Trump the most.
Yeah.
Play
Okay.
your thunder on that one. You're the one
Absolutely
that
not.
talks about Trump every single day.
Absolutely not. Well, Snuggles, here's the deal.
What's up?
All right. I don't think that I'm really getting through to you. All
Hey,
right.
you will
But I
never get
did.
through to Snuggles, but I will always
And,
be with you because I would like a piece of apple pie that you owe me.
listen, listen.
What's up, bro?
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. On a
Yes,
serious note,
very
um,
serious.
And then I think there's people who want to come in and be a part of this discussion. I have
Actually,
no problem doing
I
it.
have to get going here, but you can go ahead and continue the discussion while people put down Snuggles. But any of the people
No,
that
no,
come,
no. This
any of
this
the
this
people
is
that come in this box, I would defend them in a grocery store, at a bowling alley, and I would be there, whether it's attacking
it's
or
not.
whether it's anybody. I
I
would,
get all of that. I get all of that. All
right,
right, but I think what you are not getting is what I'm saying to you,
right.
which is this: you can't tell people to not bring race into it.
It's
Race is
not
a
race.
very
Well, you
critical.
brought race into this, but listen,
Listen to what I'm saying, please,
right,
because everybody walks from a different perspective in life. We all
right.
see what's going on out here. All right, you can throw numbers and statistics at us all you
Can I
want
ask you a
to.
question?
We all see what's going on. Yeah, after I get done saying what I gotta
All
say.
right,
As far as what I'm seeing going on from the what happened in Vegas, you remember
right.
the situation in Vegas.
Yeah,
There's a
absolutely.
certain demographic, usually white males, that
Okay,
are getting armed and going around taking advantage of people
right,
with their
right.
weapons. All
Absolutely.
right.
It's all over the place.
So let's no. So
All over.
when I hear you,
Hmm.
and I want you to know this is where I always will stand on this issue. And if
Right,
we ever talk, and you want to say he's race baiting, I can live with some race baiting. It don't
right.
matter because it's not going anywhere.
Mhm.
When I hear someone being very quick to condemn people of color and not people, right,
So what you're
that are
saying is
actually
that
doing
what
the
you're saying
terrorism,
is
we're going to have this conversation each and every
right. So
single
what you're
time.
saying is you're supporting the people that rob gas stations, though. That's not important because of their
You're
because of
doing
their
it
race.
again.
No,
You're
no.
doing it again. You're doing it
Is it
again.
okay for the other demographics?
You see
No,
how
no,
I
I'm asking you
lead
a
you to a
question. I want
point
to
and
ask you a
then you
question.
turn
Is it
around.
okay for the other demographics that are smaller in shootings, one or two people, and you add up those people in Chicago, is it okay for them to unalive those people? Is that what you're saying? You don't care about that
You're
demographic
not listening to
because you're
what I'm
showing
saying.
ignorance. You're showing ignorance and blaming just the white person. So who's the racist? Is it the white person that shoots 11, 20, 22 people? Because you sound racist when a black person says, well, a white person shoots hundreds of people, and you focus on that, right? And that's the top news around the United States. But you don't care about the smaller amount of people that get joined into a gang in Chicago. The small amounts of black and black shootings, you don't give a fuck. That's where the racism comes in, is because when the white people do it, you could talk about it. It doesn't matter because white isn't a color in America. White is nothing in America, right? Because when a white person goes crazy, that's not a race. White
Are
is
you
not a
done?
race. That's
Are you done?
ignorant crossings.
Are you Snuggles? Are you done? Are you
That's
done with that?
ignorance. No, I'm
Because
not done.
as far as I'm concerned, you're trying to once again paint
No,
people
no,
of
I'm
color with a
painting you the
broad
right way.
brush.
You don't care about black people that get shot at gas stations. I'm
Did
painting you
I
that
say I
way.
don't?
You're careless. You don't care, and you don't acknowledge that people
Well,
get hurt. A 12-year-old
what would you
black
like
girl
me to
got
do?
shot at a McDonald's drive-through by a gang member, and you don't care about that because and I care about that whether it's white or black. I care about a life, and you don't care about it. When a white person shoots every live I go into, oh, it's a white guy. It's a white guy. That's just as racist. When a black person talks about it, it's just as racist.
Mm,
There's no care
mm,
there. So who's
mm,
the real racist here?
mm. So you think I'm the real racist?
Yeah, because you don't care about the small things that happen in L.A. or the small gas station shootings that happen. That's okay. We can't talk about that because it's racist. Because it's
So
racist to talk about that. It's just
let me
those
pump your
lives don't
brakes.
matter, right?
Hold on. So let me stop you right there in your tracks, cowboy.
Oh yeah, you ain't stopping shit because I see it.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, the proof is in the pudding, Snuggles.
No, yeah, the
All
proof
right,
is you
you
don't
got
care
a lot
about
of
the black and black shootings.
you got a lot of lip service,
I
but
could
here's the
say
thing.
black. That's not
No,
that's not
no,
racist.
listen to what I'm saying. No.
That's a life.
You got up here and you threw some shots at me, right? Zeus is a racist, which is not true.
Absolutely.
Thank you. But really, it's you that's the racist because every
No, it's
MAGA
not.
accusation
Because
is a MAGA
you don't
confession.
care about black
No,
you
no,
don't
no,
care
no.
about
Listen to
black
what I'm
people in
trying to say.
Chicago.
Listen to what I'm
No,
saying.
I
You
care
don't
about it.
care. You don't care because I see what you do
No,
when you
no.
bring up
Your
people like
narrative is
Michelle.
white
Listen to
people
what I'm
shoot.
saying.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I see how you disparage the former president Barack Obama,
No,
right?
I voted for Barack Obama. First
No.
term.
But you post content about his wife, right? And what
Right,
color
I
is
do.
Michelle
Doesn't
Obama?
mean
What
she's.
color is Michelle?
Hey,
Listen, what color is
hey,
Michelle Obama?
see,
What
when
color
you,
is she?
it
What
doesn't
color
matter
is
what
she?
color.
Oh.
You talk
See, you
about
see how
Trump,
you do
right?
that? You
What color
see?
is he?
No. I'm talking about
What
you.
color is Trump? What color is Trump? Orange,
Orange.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, it
So
doesn't
so
matter.
so
You can make fun of him, but that's not racist because you're making fun of a white guy. It does. I don't call you racist. You're just being human and you're being funny.
Snuggles.
So
No,
I'm
no.
being human
You
and funny
just
as
called.
well.
You
You
just
say
called.
I make fun of Michelle Obama, but then you
Yeah.
call it. You put race into it because that's your narrative. It's
No,
not
no,
working for
no,
me,
no, no,
Zeus.
no, no,
I
no.
love
It's
all
this.
people.
It's
I could joke
no
just as much. You
Snuggles.
put black into something, you put race into something because I talk about a person that might be a man. See, that's your racism. That's your thinking. And that's not who I am. And I'm telling you that's not who I
Well,
am.
why do you think people think you're racist then?
People could just
If it's not
talk.
who you are, Snuggles, if it's not who you
Yeah,
are,
people
because you
could
know if
just
it walks
talk and
like a
it's not
duck, if it
racist.
walks like a duck, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a
Right.
duck, well, darn it, it's a
You
duck.
you talk about Trump and you make fun of him, then you're racist against white people. So yeah, I guess you're walking like a duck,
Okay,
talking like a
okay,
duck,
okay, okay,
and you're
okay,
ignorant
okay.
like a
Let's
duck.
play that game. So I'm racist because I talk about Trump
Yeah, because you talk about Trump because you think I'm racist because I talk about Michelle Obama.
and others. You do a lot more
No,
than
I
just
don't do
talk
that.
about
I
Michelle.
don't do
Yeah,
that, and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
making me
And
sound like I am.
let me make sure I help you understand why the
Right,
perception might be that you are racist. One,
right,
because we see how you are so quick to defend white folks and talk
right,
about
right,
minorities.
right, right,
This is true.
right.
Number one.
Okay,
Now I'm all about defending people in general,
right.
but you have a proclivity to do it a lot more actually when it comes
No,
to
that's your
the people
narrative.
that
It's
go
your
to your platform.
storyline. It's
No.
it's your story.
This
It's
is
a
true.
democratic narrative
From
story.
what you've been
So I know
talking
who
about
I
at the
am.
border, from what you've been talking
I
about
know
at the
who I am,
border,
Zeus.
you quick to talk about these people that are at the
Right,
border who can't defend themselves. All right, but you won't do the same thing to these folks that are here
right. We
terrorizing this
already handled the
country.
border. We don't want criminals
I
coming
mean,
through the
you,
border. So you're still adding that on,
no.
Zeus.
But you're quick to demonize them. You're quick to go talk about
No, I'm
people robbing
demonizing the
liquor
people that are
stores.
coming, not
You're
coming
talking
here with
about
their
people robbing
families.
liquor stores, Snuggles. You talk
Right.
about
You
people
don't care
robbing
about
liquor
people robbing
stores,
liquor stores.
but
I understand that.
you don't talk about the banks that have robbed our people.
Right.
All right, you don't talk about how this country has robbed our people. You want to talk about
Who's your
the
people?
little old people of color, the
Who's your
people of
people?
color. We're talking about
That's
black
that's
folks.
racist. You don't care about white then, right? Right. That's our bank too.
Snuggles, do you know American
Do you
history?
think white?
Jesus
Do you think
Christ.
our bank? Do you think white people are
Snuggles,
struggling at banks?
stop it.
Why? I'm saying the same
Black
thing you
people,
are.
listen, Snuggles. Black people did not enslave white people in this country. So stop with
Oh,
it.
okay. When are you going to get over that, victim?
Stop it.
You're
Jesus
being a
Christ.
victim. You never grew up like that. You weren't born in that
Snuggles,
era. You're a
Snuggles, this is
victim.
what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I
You're
am
a
talking
victim.
about.
Oh, poor me, poor me. You're supposed to be an ancestor today.
No, no, no,
Grow
no,
up.
no, 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 no. I
You're
just
the
won't
ancestor
allow
today,
you. I
keeping
just
on.
won't, Snuggles. I just won't allow you to sit up here and try to sell the
I'm
story.
just
It
saying.
was
Well, your
black
sale
people
didn't
that
work either.
enslaved white people. It
Your
wasn't.
your sale
So
didn't either.
Snuggles. So let's get this straight then. Who
Are you
enslaved?
a victim?
Which race enslaved which race in this
All right.
country?
Did you
Which
grow up?
race?
Did you grow up like that?
Snuggles. No, answer that question
No,
first.
you didn't grow up
Which
like that. Were you a
which
slave? Yes or no?
Snuggles. Answer the question.
Were you a
See, you
slave?
don't
Yes
got
or
no
no? I
answers.
just want to know. Were you a slave?
You don't got any answers, right?
Exactly, because you weren't a
No.
slave, so you wanted to, but you want to continue the victimized stories. You
Do
instead of
you
growing
think
up being an ancestor and showing people it could be different.
Snuggles? First of all, you don't know what slavery is. Do you have any
Oh
ancestors
yeah,
went to
I know what
slavery?
slavery is.
What
You
is
got
it?
you tell me every day. You guys got to remind me of the ancestry instead of growing up telling the children of today because they're confused as fuck because you want to stay on history.
Snuggles, what is slavery?
I don't want to
Since you're
discuss
the
slavery right
genius.
now because I wasn't
Exactly,
born
because
in
you
it.
don't know what it you don't know what
And
it
you don't
is.
know what it is either because you weren't born in it. You didn't grow up a slave. You grew up
You don't know
loved.
what I grew up. You
You
don't
grew
know
up
what I
loved.
grew up. You don't know anything about my family
You grew
history.
up
But I'll tell you.
loved, though.
I'll tell Snuggles. I'll tell you one thing.
Right.
I'll tell you one thing. I got a lot more ties to slavery than you do.
Right. You have ties to it, but
No,
you're
no,
not
no,
a,
no, no, no,
but you
no,
didn't
no, no,
grow
no.
up one.
Listen to what I'm trying to
None of you
tell
guys
you.
grew up one.
Snuggles, listen to what I'm trying to tell you.
Go ahead.
And the impact of slavery. Hold on.
Right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Yeah. And the impact of slavery I'm still dealing with while you're
Were
still
you a
riding
slave though?
around.
Were
Well,
you a slave
listen,
personally?
listen, listen. I can't say
You
that
won't
I
even
was,
answer that.
Snuggles. Snuggles, I can't say that I was because it would be a disservice to
Okay,
my
good. Then why
ancestors
don't
if
you
I were to
why are you
say that I
talking about it?
was.
Morgan Freeman said stop talking about it.
I don't listen to Morgan Freeman.
Right,
You
because
can
you
listen
want to
to him.
continue the narrative, the story of hate and the divide. That's all
No,
you are,
no,
is
no, no.
dividers. You want to continue to like, poor me, I can't grow up, poor me.
So, so,
That's mental
so,
illness to
so.
me.
You see how
I'm
you
just
did
saying
that
it's
right
mental
there.
illness. It's
You
poor
see how
me.
you
I
did
don't want to
that
hear your
right
story
there.
because you're never a slave.
You
It's
see how
over
you
with.
did that right there.
Everybody's
You see how
free
you did
today.
that right there.
Zeus, you're free, right?
Snuggles. Oh, I'm free.
Great. Everyone is free today. Let's stop the
Yeah.
bullshit and move forward
Oh, oh,
together.
oh, 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 oh. See, I
What?
can't go there.
What?
I can't go there with
Why?
you. I can't go there
Why?
with you because here's the thing,
All
Snuggles,
right.
and you won't listen. You won't
Okay,
listen.
so
All right, but I'm
go ahead
glad
and
we're
talk about the white
you.
shooter, and you'll be fine because white isn't a color, and white isn't another color. It's WT now today, and napkins. You guys created good words. Keep talking about white. What's wrong with white?
Mm. So can I let me finish saying what I was going to say
Okay, go
to
ahead.
answer
Go
your
ahead.
question about
You
slavery.
were a
My
slave,
grandmother, listen to what I'm saying to you.
right?
My grandmother, God
I don't
bless her
want to hear
soul.
about
Listen to what
our
I'm saying.
grandparents.
Listen to what
My
I'm
grandma
saying.
died.
Listen to what I'm trying to say. All right, you can't talk and listen at the same time. All right, my grandmother is
Uh-huh.
still alive and is telling me about stories that she experienced as a slave. So for you to
Right,
get your so-called American I want to unite with everybody
right,
behind on this app and sit here and try to sweep that under the rug,
right,
you have lost your mind.
right.
The
But did you
impact of
grow up a
slavery.
slave? Did you grow up a slave after
Listen,
that?
I'm not done talking to you. The impact of slavery is still affecting millions of Americans to this day.
See a
So
psychologist, then. It's not my problem.
don't you dare sit up here and
See a
say, well,
psychologist. You
Zeus,
weren't a
you
slave.
weren't born during that time, so
I
guess
don't
what?
care. Go see a psychologist.
Okay, and this is why
Exactly.
this is why I'm going to continue to be the worst race baiter you know.
No.
Because I want to make sure
Then you'll never
everywhere you
grow. You'll
go,
always divide.
yeah.
The dividers,
Again, we're
the
not gonna
dividers are the
grow.
people
We're not
stuck in the
gonna grow.
past.
Snuggles, we're
You're
not
not
gonna.
moving forward, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna be
And I
stuck in the
feel for you.
past, and I'm gonna be stuck on your you know what.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna sit.
We
I'm not
moving
gonna sit
forward
up here and
together.
let you.
You know I'm right. You know I'm right.
No. See, and that's the thing.
Absolutely.
That's that little trick. Well, put it in the past. It didn't happen. Oh
It
no,
didn't
we're gonna
happen. We
talk
didn't
about
grow
it.
up in it, bro.
Oh yeah, you can speak for yourself.
We
Speak
didn't
for
grow up in
yourself,
it.
Snuggles.
Well,
Speak for yourself. All right,
we
and I'm gonna always be the reminder to you that
you
it
don't
ain't
have to
over.
remind me of nothing.
No,
You're
no, no,
stuck in
no,
the
no.
past
I'm gonna
and
keep
you're a
reminding you
divider.
it ain't over. I'm gonna keep yeah. Call it dividing all you want. If people speaking up for the
I'm not the
suffering
one
that they've
talking
been
about it. I'm not the one talking about it. You're the one that creates race and divide because
no.
your grandma and because everybody in the past. It's my fault. It's the white
Yeah.
person's fault because
You're
of
darn
today
right.
because
That's a
they
good
never
place
were
to
in.
start.
They never were born to
That's a
it.
good place.
So it's the white
That's a good
person's
place
fault
to
to
start,
today. I got your
Snuggles.
story.
Yeah. Won't you
But the
pack your
white
bags
people
and go
don't
to
buy it
Russia?
today because we were never
Why don't
there.
you
We feel sorry for it.
pack your bags and go to Russia, Snuggles?
Pack your bags and go to Russia because you shouldn't be here if you're not happy here.
Oh no.
Hey,
I'm
the
happy
people that
here.
are not
I'm the
happy
one.
here and that are oppressed should go move out of here. Like you give the Trump noise out. Oh, if you don't
Yeah,
like
because
it
they're
here,
traitors.
move.
They're
Because it's
terrorists. They're
not the white
domestic
person's
terrorists.
problem today.
You
We
don't
weren't born in
understand.
the
Listen,
slave era today. It's not the white person's problem.
Snuggles. So let me make sure I understand where your mind is at because
No,
this is the deepest I've ever gone with you
I know.
on a
We've been
matter
deep.
that's very
We
serious.
are going deep
Okay,
here.
so let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're saying that because black people weren't born in slavery, there's nothing else to worry about because
You're
it's all
blaming the white
good.
people of today that weren't born into slavery. We weren't born there. I wasn't there. And you're
But
blaming us. And
and
you're
what do you
hurting
do when
us because we weren't
so
there. And
what
you're
you're
playing
saying
victim.
racism doesn't exist in this country is what you're
Not that
saying.
when we're not born in
No,
it. We
say it,
weren't
Snuggles.
there.
Say how you truly feel.
I'm
Say how
telling
you
you how I
truly
truly
feel.
feel. I am not a racist. I wasn't born in that era, and it's time for you guys to rise up and work together and move forward and teach our children that we're not born. We're free today.
This
We are free today.
you know, I've never been so disappointed in you All right, and I don't know.
I'm
I
not
don't
a
know how
Nazi,
this.
guys. I'm not in there. We are free today, and I don't understand why we have to stick
Snuggles,
to the
Snuggles.
past.
You normally listen. At least you try to be
Listen,
reasonable.
I want to move
But
forward, but it's
no,
you are the
you
ones that are
can't
not moving forward. When you
because
bring this divide and your
so I get what you're
victimization,
doing.
it's not, and
I
you're
get
blaming
what
the
you're
white
doing.
people.
I get what you're doing. You're the type of
There's no
person.
getting. This is facts,
You're the type of
Zeus.
person that somebody abuses you and you just tell them, well, it's not happening, so get over it.
Right. I have to get over it, right? I'm not going to say that every male on this earth are abusers, right? When I'm abused, when I was abused when as a child, I don't blame every man on this earth as abusers. I don't play victim anymore. Whatever happened to my life, I'm not going to sit there and cry. I don't see Japan and the United States of what happened to when the Japan killed Pearl Harbor. I don't think we're sitting around and saying, "Well, Japan, you did this to me and you did that to me and we did this and you killed our people, or unalived our people, 3,000 people, and we don't want to talk to you and we don't create." You see, the Japan people and the United States, we get along, right? We move forward. But you're stuck in your victimization and you're blaming white people that weren't born in the slave era.
Snuggles. So who should we blame?
Blame the
Please,
people in the past.
please,
Blame
wait.
the history. History's
Oh, wait,
gone.
Snuggles.
Well,
You
hello,
just said we
wake up.
can't do
We're
that.
now. We're in the now.
You just said we can't blame white people. So then who do we blame?
Well, the white people that were born today, is it their fault today? The babies, white babies of today,
No.
is
You
it their
answering a
fault
question with a
because of
question.
something that happened 400 years ago or whatever, 200 years ago? Are the white people born today, is that going to be their problem for the rest of our lives? Or when are you going to see a psychologist and say, hey, we must move
Okay.
on together?
Okay. So let me ask you this. All right, since we got to do it like this. Say your grandparents owned slaves. If you were a person
I'm
in
just
that
saying, well,
situation. No,
is
no,
it
no,
the.
listen.
Okay,
Listen to
go
what
ahead.
I'm trying to say. So
Go
if
ahead.
your parents owned slaves and then they passed away and then you inherited all of the properties, all of the assets,
Shame on my parents.
but you got them now.
Shame
You
on
got
my
all that.
parents. Properties will go on forever. When we die,
Okay,
when you
okay.
die, your property goes on to another person. Properties
Okay,
are
okay.
properties. Those are material
Okay, so
things.
so 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 you can understand that it didn't just die with the person; it's still going on. So you
No, the people
understand
are
that
dead.
concept.
The
No,
properties
no, no, no,
stay,
no,
and
no.
we move.
So you understand the concept that just because a person dies, it doesn't mean the stuff they had
Right.
ended. You
Oh, and
understand that
okay. So
clearly.
what it means is that you're not moving on and you're
No, no,
not
no, no, no,
living.
no, 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 no. What it means is
Right.
that just like assets can be
Right.
passed
Exactly.
down the generations, right?
Right. Right.
Just like good things can be passed from
Right.
one generation to the next.
Yeah.
I want you
And
to use your imagination,
right. Yeah. I'm
okay?
using my
And
imagination.
understand that bad things can be
I
passed
hear
from
you, Zeus.
generation to generation. Oh, you
Definitely.
do.
Oh yeah.
So you do understand the
But what it also
concept.
means is that
No, 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 no,
no,
no,
what
no.
it
Listen,
also
I'm
means
not
is that
done.
the
I'm
white
not
people
done
have
with
to
you.
suffer. The white people have to suffer for the rest of their lives from what happened to these old material things and the old black memories. Because the white
Snuggles,
people have to suffer. We have to suffer. We're called white
you
privilege because of your
eh,
suffering.
you're
What
doing
is
it
that
again.
fair to bring us
You're
down
doing it
because
again,
of something that
Snuggles.
happened?
Snuggles, you're doing
You
it
can't
again.
answer those questions though, and that's sad.
Snuggles, you're doing it again. Every time we start talking about people of color and their suffering,
Right.
your mind instantly rushes to defend white people.
Right.
What the
Well,
heck is wrong
because
with you?
white people are the people that are suffering from what the white people did in the past, and they were fucked up doing that shit. That wasn't our problem, my problem. Because if we were there together
Oh,
today, those white
oh.
people be put down. But no,
So wait a
white
second.
babies
Time
today
out.
can't move on because you're going to still victimize them. Because
Time out. Time out. Are
what?
you saying you said white people are suffering from what other
Yes,
white
we
people
are
did?
suffering today because you're blaming us from your past.
White people are no. You said white people are suffering from what other
White
white
people
people
are
did.
suffering today because you're blaming them of the past. We weren't born in that era.
Wait a second. Why can't you just sweep that under the
So
rug?
we got to call that black privilege because of that. It's black privilege because we have to hold on to your past and we have to be by your side because we have to mentally be there for you. And I call it mental illness because you're not moving forward.
Oh,
You keep sticking on the
so
past.
so we got the same
So the
problem
white
that these
people
folks.
have to
Listen.
suffer
Time out,
from your shit.
Snuggles. So you're saying the black people got the same problem as these folks going around committing these mass shootings.
Hey, no, I'm not. The shootings have nothing. That's mental
You
illness.
that's
Period.
so the mass
No,
shooters
no,
have
no, no.
mental illness.
Don't put the white mass shooting in this, because if you add up
You
all the
said
gas,
mental illness.
like I said, we can go back and forth like this all day. The people that go in the shooting, and whether they're white or black or anything, that's their mental health issue. That has nothing to do with the normal conversation you and I are having.
Oh, wait. No.
So you
I'm
want to
paying
create
attention.
those
Listen,
stories of
I'm
which
listening.
race is shooting.
Snuggles. I'm listening to you. You use the term mental health issues when you were talking
Absolutely.
about black people.
Mental health is slavery. Mental health of slavery,
Oh,
because you weren't a slave, Zeus. You're
okay,
just
okay.
suffering with the.
So there's what? Mental health issues because of slavery. You're putting that out here right now
I
to
am
America
absolutely
to
saying
see.
that because the white people did
Okay,
nothing
so
and you're blaming the white people. Every time I don't see one white room talking about black people on this app. When I see black people talking about white people in this app, that's okay. It's normal. But God forbid, if there was a white app talking about black people, it would be the most racist thing. We would be suspended, and that's how it goes. I see, and it's very sad because we're the ancestors of today. You and me are ancestors today, and the kids are looking at us like leaders, and they don't because. And if they're reflecting on your past, if you're reflecting on the past, we're never going to grow in the future. And that's what's painful. We're
yeah.
never
Okay,
going to move forward as a people if you
so
Zeus sticks on your
yeah,
past.
yeah. Okay, and again, that's your opinion. I just want to make sure you understand where I stand on this issue. All right,
Right.
and it's this,
And I'm
You
not a
can't
joke.
tell.
I love
No.
people. I'm
Quit
talking to your
reading.
crowd.
Listen, I get it. You can't read everything that's being said right now because this is a serious issue, and I think
It's serious.
and it's an issue that I think is really one a lot of people can relate to in this country,
And
right?
Zeus,
But
I love you more than anything. Okay? I
okay,
talk to
I
you.
get that. I get that's
You
how
get
you
it. I
feel.
want you to know
I
that because
get
we've been friends
I
for a while. And
I
those are
get that's how
facts.
you. I get that's how you feel, but I want to make sure I
Absolutely.
understand where you're coming from and where I
Absolutely.
stand. What I see, what I see when I hear what you're saying is perhaps you might have very good intentions, right? That could be true, but there's a problem, all right? And the problem is this: when it comes to race relations, the way that you talk, it's a way that I just don't get along with. I can't get behind
I
it
know. I understand that.
because listen, and it's because you are quick to defend white folks when they're doing
I'm
wrong
not
and
defending
attack
white
black
persons. I'm
folks.
talking about humanity.
Okay, I could relate to that from that perspective. All right,
Thank you.
but when you get out here and you start trying to say black folks robbing liquor stores is equivalent to these domestic terrorist acts that are going on,
If you
no,
add it up, it's
it
mental
ain't
health
no if
everywhere,
you add
bro.
it up. When you
I'm
start
from
trying to say
Chicago.
that,
It's mental health everybody. It's mental health everywhere, bro.
when you
Don't
start
analyze that
when
and
you
talk like a narrative
You're
story.
doing it again.
I'm
Listen,
just letting you
you
know.
see, Snuggles, every single time I tell you about the suffering of people in color, you instantly rush to defend white people. They
No.
don't
I
need
can
your help.
acknowledge.
They don't need your help,
Did
Snuggles.
I stick up for the gunman?
They don't need your help.
Wait, did I stick up for the gunman, the white gunman? Yes or no?
You pretty much
No,
did.
I didn't. I'm asking you.
You said mental
Can you
health.
acknowledge a black person robbing a store?
Here we go again.
No, I want to
Jesus
know. I want
Christ.
you to ask me. Just answer me correctly. Can you acknowledge that it's okay? Is it okay for a black person to rob a store and shoot someone dead? Can you
Snuggles.
acknowledge it?
Jesus Christ.
You can't
Jesus
acknowledge it,
Christ.
and that's what scares me the most. That's okay. That's what feels more racist to me because you don't care about human life of everybody. I don't
No,
care about
this
that
I
white person. That white person has mental health, and I said we should all carry guns so that we could defend the human race, that the people like you and
okay.
me.
Let me answer your question, all right? Because I think this is kind of making people
I
feel
gotta
like
calm down
I'm
because this is
yeah,
you're really making me look
yeah.
like you're really making me look horrible, Zeus. And I really want you to
Well, listen,
take a look at life in general. That all
listen to
people,
what I'm saying.
all
Listen to what I'm
lives.
saying. Listen to what I'm saying. All right, people can decide however they want. This is a conversation two grown men are having. All right, and regardless of how the chips fall, I believe you're being as honest as you can from the position you're in.
Yeah, but I'm
So let me
talking from my heart because I
let me
love
answer this
all.
question. Let me answer this question.
All right.
It is wrong for a person that is black to rob a liquor store. That's not the issue, though.
That's
Why
mental
I
health,
didn't
just
want to,
like the
why, no,
white
listen,
person.
why I did not want to answer that question is because it's taking me off track of where I'm trying to go with this. And I don't get how I'm talking about the suspect, which
Okay.
is a white guy.
Okay.
And as soon as I point that out, that he's a white guy, your mind goes to black people doing this,
No, that
migrants
wasn't
at the
my mind.
border.
I said at the beginning, I said we should all be armed for the white guy. If that white guy came in, I'd shoot him down. That's what I said. That's how it started. But I also
Yeah,
I want to recognize too that there is crimes in Chicago too. There's a that the
but
black girl got
Snuggles,
shot through the drive-through. I mean, I'm talking about it all.
if
Whether it's one person or 22 people, we need to come together and knock this. You asked me about mental health. I'm talking about it. It comes in all different colors, sizes, shapes. We need to stick together as humans because it's not
okay,
right on both ends, both
okay,
races.
okay, so you don't get it. I'm just gonna,
Okay,
because
so I
I
don't get
can't
it.
keep going in circles.
Zeus, I'm talking
Either you
about being
don't get it
together.
or
I'm talking about
you're
mental
just
health.
intentional.
It's in
You're
white
just
and black.
intentional.
Okay.
Snuggles, if I'm
Okay.
not talking, it's like this. I'll put it to you in a simpler term.
Right.
You get caught cheating, right? You get caught cheating in a relationship, right? We're talking about you cheating in the relationship. We're not talking about that macaroni and cheese we ate last week. You get what I'm
Okay.
trying to say?
Zeus,
Why do you keep wanting to go bring up other issues when
because
we're only talking about this one issue?
okay, so you go ahead and talk about the white person then. How do you sound talking about white people then shooting up places? How does that make you sound? If I say a black person goes to a gas station, you call me a racist. But you're
Here we go
talking about a
again.
white
Here
person
we go
shooting
again.
22 people. Go ahead, talk
Here
about
we
the
go
white person.
again.
No, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to be quiet about it. Go ahead, talk about the white
Here
person
we
then.
go again. Here we go again. Here we
What
go
makes
again.
you not any? What makes you better than me?
I know no one ever said that.
Yeah, you did. You practically did.
No one ever
Go
said
ahead,
that, Snuggles.
please talk about the white person. Go ahead.
Well, from what I understand,
Go ahead.
from what I understand, he's 40 years old.
Sounds racist. He's white. I'm going to
You
be
know
like
what,
you now,
Snuggles?
Zeus. He's
Snuggles,
white. No. I'm not
have
talking about black people.
I think
You're
I've learned
racist. You're
enough.
talking about a white person. You're racist. You're white. You're talking about a white guy.
Yeah,
How would you
okay.
like that being brought up to you every time a white person shoots somebody? Go ahead.
Snuggles,
You're a racist. Talk about the
I
white
thought
guy. Go
I
ahead.
honestly took you at your word when you said you were going to shut up,
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
but you won't shut up.
No, I'm going
And
to listen to you
so
talk
you were
about the
just
white person shooting people. Go ahead.
no. No. I think I've had enough. All right, because here's
Why?
the
Why?
deal.
This is interesting. I
Be,
want to talk about the white person. You don't.
mm,
It's always when a white person does something. Go ahead, talk about it.
yeah, no, you don't.
You have
What do you
every
know
right. It's
about him?
black
Okay,
privilege. White people can't talk about black people. It's white. It's black privilege. Go ahead, talk about the
Let's
white
talk
person.
about him. Let's talk about him. What do you know about the suspect?
All I know is that he had mental health problems. He's schizophrenic or something like that,
What
right?
else?
And he unalived 22 people. 60
What
other
else?
people were shot.
What else?
Uh, I think he served in the military. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
Mm-hmm. What else?
No, I want you to because you got the story down on the white guy. Go ahead.
No. What else?
No, I want to listen to you. You got to talk about the white guy. Go ahead.
What does it
He's a
say right
horrible
there
person.
behind me? What does it say right there behind me? Read it.
Yeah, I can read it. Go ahead.
What does it say?
You got to put Donald Trump in there, right? Go ahead.
This is facts.
Right. No, he's a human being. It doesn't. We don't know if he's Democrat or Republican.
You
Okay,
see this?
you're throwing Donald Trump in there, and you sounding stupid.
This is why.
This is a human being that had mental health issues after
This is
serving.
somebody. This is something. This is sad. This is real sad.
It is very sad, but it's not Donald Trump.
You said let's talk about him, and instantly you started acting like you were his defense attorney.
All right. Okay.
Again.
No, I'm not his
Again.
defense attorney. I'm just saying.
Give him an excuse. What's the
Okay.
next
So
excuse?
what I'm going to say, don't get mad at me. So when I go to the gas station, black guy robs somebody. He's a Biden guy, right? Because he's
wow.
because the city of Chicago is blue.
Here
That
we go
sounds
again.
stupid, Zeus.
Here we
I don't
go
do
again.
that. I don't do that,
Here
Zeus.
we go again. Here we go again.
I mean, here we go. Yeah,
Every
you're going to
time we
go
talk
white
about
person
this
is Trump,
guy,
black person is
every
Biden,
time,
right?
no,
Give
every
me
time
a
we talk
break,
about
Zeus.
this guy,
I'm setting an example. I'm acting like you.
no, you have no ability
I'm
to
acting like
condemn
you,
this guy.
Zeus. Go ahead. Talk about
Instead,
the white guy
Snuggles,
and Trump.
instead, what you do is rush and start
Right.
pouncing on people of color, and you
Right.
do
No,
it
I'm
so
doing what
easily.
you're doing. White
You do it
Trump,
so
white guy,
easily.
white Trump, white MAGA.
Jesus
That's all I'm
Christ.
doing.
Jesus Christ.
That's what you're talking
Jesus
about.
Christ.
You're just doing the
No.
same thing that you're blaming me for doing. Well,
Snuggles.
Trump is
I
white,
gotta.
guy is
Listen.
white,
Listen.
MAGA
Listen.
people are white, right? That's
I'm
racist.
curious. We and you've talked long enough. All right.
Yeah, I know. We
Seriously.
have talked long enough. We have.
Okay.
I'm not
I'm at the
fired.
point with this conversation that the only thing I could recommend you do, honestly,
Yes,
is go
Zeus.
ahead, please,
I'm no
please.
racist, Zeus. You
No,
came in, you pulled me in here like a fish on a hook, and you didn't get me, Zeus. Throw me back in the water. I'm not a racist.
I never said that.
Thank
I
you.
will say this though. I will say this though. If it
Thank
walks
you.
like a duck and quacks like a duck, well, darn it, it's a
Well,
duck.
I guess we're both ducks, right? Go ahead. Keep talking
So,
about the white guy and white Trump.
let me listen. Let me say this. The thing that I observed by talking to you
What?
this time, I don't know how long we've
I
been
mean, we're so
talking.
much alike.
No, we're not. We're absolutely
Absolutely. We're
not.
very much alike.
The one thing I've observed about you
Yes.
is that you are quick to attack people of color, and so I'm
And
going
you
to ask
are.
that you
Is white a color?
no, keep that in
Wait,
mind
is white a
going
color?
forward.
Is white a
Keep
color?
going,
Yes or no?
Snuggles, Snuggles,
Okay, well, white isn't a color, everybody, according to Zeus.
Snuggles, Snuggles.
Right.
Stay on topic.
Please include
Keep
white as a color, guys.
keep
Everybody, white is a color as well, guys.
Jesus Christ. All
Thank
right,
you.
listen. I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. We got to drop
Me too.
Snuggles. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Well, that was a good conversation. If I don't mind speaking on it, because I got to understand what's going on in Snuggles' head, and and what he does, ladies and gentlemen, quiet as it is kept, a lot of folks across this country do. Yeah, what he does, a lot of people around this world do. It's an excellent example of denial. All right, it's definitely spot on when it comes to never wanting to address the real problem, which is themselves. You got every excuse in the book. You got every excuse in the book, right? For why this person is the problem, why she's the problem, why everybody is the problem except you. We spent a whole hour talking about racism, and you conclude that Zeus is racist without having any proof to back it up. We spent a whole hour talking, and Snuggles, you're older than me. You really are. And you want to sit here and say racism doesn't exist in the United States anymore. This is what I'm talking about. But see, this is MAGA behavior, and this is exactly why I do what I do on this platform. All right, all right. Let's bring up another panelist. Let's go, let's go. All right. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. We got a lot. We got a lot of people here. All right, Bushmaster, what's up? You sent a request to talk to Zeus. What's going on?
I was listening to your last conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You made a comment about like who's doing all these shootings. Could
Correct.
you elaborate on what you was trying to say?
Yeah. What do you think? What color was the mass shooter that shot up the nightclub out there in Vegas?
White, wasn't he?
Wasn't he white?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
What are your thoughts about that? What about we talk about Columbine. What color are the people?
White.
Yeah. So what's the issue?
So I went and did a little research to kind of figure that out for you. Maybe you can help me with this. It's a collage of mass shooters in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's see. Here's another one. There's 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Where do you get
And
this from?
here is 2021.
Mm.
Hmm.
So what do you say? What are you trying to say with these pictures? I'm not catching what you're trying to get me to see.
They're not all white, my friend.
Yeah. But what about the white ones? What do you got to say about them? Because we already heard what you got to say about black folks. What do you got to say about the white guys?
What do I gotta say?
You're doing exactly what Snuggles does. You like to come in here and try to mix it all up and make it look like this is what black folks and people of color and you're just blending in.
Well, these are no colleges of. You said it was all
I mean, first of
YT.
all, I don't know where the
Your whole
heck you got
chat
that
was
data
saying it
from.
too. And then
I don't know where the
also,
heck you got that data from, Bushmaster. But what are you
sure,
getting at? What are you getting at? Are you
you
trying
see,
to say? Are you
you see,
trying to
you
say
see
that?
this comment in your chat. You allow comments like that. I am straight up gonna come find you, is what he told Snuggles. You allow stuff like that?
I'm not reading the comments. I'm pretty sure I
Hmm.
got some of those. So what is your
You ain't got
point?
no mods? You got
What is your
mods?
point? What is your point, Bushmaster?
Hmm.
Is this what you
See?
came to do?
Hey, look, see what he said in the chat just now?
No,
Yes,
I'm
I
not.
am.
I'm not looking at that. I'm talking
You
to
allow
you.
threats and stuff like that on your live, bro? I'm asking you.
I'm
This
allowing
is your
you.
live.
I'm allowing you to talk, right?
I never said you wasn't.
So
That's
what do
not
you
what
want
I'm
to talk
talking about.
about? What are you talking about? I don't care what happened in the comments. I'm not reading them.
You
I'm
don't
talking to
care.
you.
Okay, so you don't care about threats.
Yeah,
Okay.
come in here and talk about what you wanted to say.
I,
Don't sit in my comment section
I
and get a
did. I showed it
screenshot
to
and
you.
ask me what I talked about in the comments. Do you think I'm reading those comments, Bushmaster?
Well, you said all YT people. All YT
Bushmaster,
people are
are
doing
you
it, bro.
listening to what I'm
That's what
saying?
you said.
Are you listening to what I'm saying? Do you know how ridiculous you look showing me a screenshot of a comment that took place while I was talking?
That's what I said. You allowed it in your live.
Bushmaster, do you have anything else to say?
You seem kind of racist to me, bro.
Oh, so you think
Just
I'm racist?
saying.
What makes you
Yeah, I
think I'm
mean,
racist?
well, I mean, you said all mass shooters are white. I went and found
No,
three colleges
I
of
said the
2019,
demographic.
2020, and
Where'd you
2021.
get that data
Yeah.
from, number one? Because that looks like a picture off of Don Jr.'s Twitter account, if you
Well, I
ask
mean,
me.
it's on there. It's
Yeah.
on there. The website's on
So
there.
what do you got to say about the white guys doing the mass
If you want to
shootings? I
take a
already know
picture
what you
of it and blow it up and
I
look
already
at it,
know
you
how
can
you
see
feel
it.
about the black people. Tell me what you think about these white guys. What's going on? You're a white guy, right?
What does that
What's
have
going on?
anything to do with anything? No,
What's
I'm not
going on in
white.
these guys' minds? Do you think?
What's going on in their minds?
Yeah. What got them doing all this crazy stuff?
I don't know. I'm not a homicidal maniac, so I can't really tell you how a homicidal maniac thinks.
Okay. Well, why do you align with them?
Align with who?
These folks that do this kind of stuff.
I would say you're probably aligning with
Because
them.
you already came in here and you accused me of being racist, yet you follow me, so I don't know how
Well,
that
I mean, you
works.
did say all YT people
No,
are
I
the ones
didn't.
doing the
No,
shooting.
I didn't. I said look at the demographic, and actually,
That's what you said.
if I went a
Yeah,
step
I'm looking
further,
at the demographic right
I
now. It's on my
insinuated they were Trump
background.
supporters. Yeah. A picture. I don't know where that picture
You
came
in,
from.
are all these
Where'd that
Trump
picture come
supporters?
from?
Are all these Trump supporters?
Where did that picture come from, Bushmaster?
Where? It's on
Yeah,
there. Take a picture
Twitter.
and look at it. It's read it. It's right there.
Jesus Christ! The fact that you can't tell me
Okay, hold
where
on.
you got that picture from. You got pictures of what happened in the comments. You got that from my comments. Where the heck did you find these pictures at, Bushmaster? See, this is what I'm
Go
talking
to
about.
go to any search engine and type pictures of mass shooters. Any search engine. It don't
Okay,
matter.
let me.
Google,
But
whatever.
which one did you find that picture?
In the pictures. It's all over the fucking internet, man. Like it just Google it. Hell.
I
Just
got
type
a different. Actually, the pictures I'm seeing, they don't look like that. Actually, I see a lot more different pictures.
there's a
What the fuck?
lot of different pictures, but I went through and found the colleges of the 2019, 2020, and 2021 mass shooters. If you're
Okay.
paying attention to what I'm saying, you will hear what I'm saying, and then you will see that, yeah, they've got single pictures up there of a mass shooter. You know what I'm saying? But this is a
So,
college of them.
you still haven't told me where you got that picture from.
Mm.
You just told me to go on to Google. So I'm gonna take it, Bushmaster. You're just getting up here to try to defend the indefensible again. Again, you
Defend the
never want to talk.
indefensible. What are you
Yeah, yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
You don't want to talk about this mass shooter that was in Maine. Instead, you want to get up here and try to
This
make it
mass
look like,
shooter in Maine. Well,
yeah.
there's a
And
situation
it's
with
tied.
that.
What's the situation?
Uh, they kept him in the hospital for 14 days because he had a mental health problem. Now, during the time that he was kept there, we don't know the details on it. We don't know what the doctor told the judge or the local sheriff, which is they have to report that to, like, if he's had thoughts of harming himself or anybody else, they have to report it to the sheriff, his local sheriff, wherever he's at in Maine. But
Mm-hmm.
we don't know any of that information yet. So we have to wait till all that information comes out before you can even really talk about it. Because if you don't know that, then you can't say the dude was a MAGA supporter because you don't know. You can't say that you don't know if he's a
Well, look at
Democrat.
they
Hell,
got the
he may not.
information about. They got his social media profile. Why
Yeah,
can't I see it?
sure. You could see, look at his social media profile, but anybody can post anything and change their mind the next day. You don't know. Obviously, this guy went off the hinge.
Oh,
Hold on.
he posted his
Obviously, this
mind.
guy went off the hinge and unalived a bunch of people. One day he was not a homicidal maniac. The next day he was. So you can't base it off that.
What do you base it off of then?
You would have to base. I mean, he was in the hospital for 14 days. Do you know what happened in that hospital for 14 days? Is it on his social media? Probably not, because I've been in one of those hospitals in my past, and I had no access to social media or anything.
Mm.
I didn't even
So,
have.
so,
I didn't even have
so wait
a
a
phone
second.
call.
So you've been in a hospital similar to how this person has been in one.
Yeah, because my ex-wife had me committed or whatever. Because your wife can do that in the state of Alabama or whatever.
Oh.
So I was there for 2 or 3 days. The doctor said I was fine. Nothing's wrong with me.
Mm.
They released me on the third day, and
Mm.
that was back in
So, so
2018, I think.
So let me, because this is sensitive. This is right up where I'm talking about. So you went in. Do you think that perhaps there was something to what your wife committed you to do? I mean, because it's not like a wife to
Well,
do that.
sure, it's not like a wife to go and sell your AK either for drugs, for methamphetamines. I mean, that's not very, great. I mean, she
Mm.
was a criminal who
Your wife
sold.
was a criminal.
Yeah, she sold, absolutely, and she's been to prison. She'll tell you she's a criminal. Like, but
But,
I was
weren't
in
you
the
with her?
process of, absolutely. I don't,
Were you a
I don't.
criminal?
No, bro, no. She told me she had changed. She wore a good mask. Let me put it that way.
Mm. So she was the criminal, and she put you in a mental hospital.
Hmm. That's what
Mm.
women do. They use the system. Well, criminals do. They will use the
Mm.
system to their advantage if they learn how. Absolutely.
Mm. So how long were you married to her?
It's 5 years. Almost 6.
5 years.
Almost 6.
And in the 6 years when you found out she was a criminal.
Oh no, I knew she'd been to prison before I ever met her.
Oh, interesting. I mean, this is a fascinating story, Bushmaster, because I've never really talked to you and got to know the Bushmaster behind the screen.
Yeah, she
So it
was
sounds like,
actually when I met her, she was homeless, carrying a book bag, walking down the side of the street, and she needed somewhere to stay. And I said, "Okay, hey, I got somewhere you can stay. There's a bed over there. Go over there, do whatever you got to do, but you ain't gonna be out here on the street."
mm. So you brought her into your house, and you didn't know her.
I mean, I knew of her. I didn't know her, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, but you gave her a good 6 years of your life, and so along this time was the relationship ever good? Because I'm
Oh,
trying to get to the point
absolutely.
where, well, why did she decide to put you in a mental hospital? And then after that, you said she sold your weapons. She sold your gun.
Well, she sold my weapon. Uh, that was
You weren't threatening her or anything.
no, 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 no. I didn't make no threats. No.
Okay, so she just woke up one day and decided this has to
I
go.
think it's more along the lines that she was a felon and she was afraid that she was going to get caught up in what she was doing, and if she got caught up in what she was doing and the police came in, they would find the weapon, and the fact that she's a felon, she's not allowed to have one. She was scared
Hmm.
and things of that nature. But I ended up talking to the police and I said, look, this is my weapon. She is a felon, but she doesn't have access to it. It's mine.
Hmm.
So on and so forth. And they said, well, that's fine. She can be there with it there, but she's just not allowed to have access to it. That's it.
Huh. And so then, how was it when she decided? Because I'm assuming you still have access to guns, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so how was it when she committed you to the mental institution and then you got out? How did you get your gun back?
They never took my guns. There was no
You said
reason to take
she
my.
sold them. She sold them.
Oh yeah, I reported it stolen because it's an illegal sale of a firearm. I was out on the road working. She took it while I was out on the road working. I mean, that's what
Right.
criminals do.
Oh,
They
I thought she
you can
took
have
it
it.
while you were in.
No, she didn't take it while I was there. That would never happen. But
Mm.
she broke in, got it, and went and sold it because she wanted drugs.
Okay. So she did sell it.
Yeah, for drugs.
Okay. So then you get out of the hospital. How did you get a gun back?
Oh no, I didn't get it back. I had to report it stolen.
Okay. So then you reported it stolen and they recovered it?
No, they did not recover it. Good luck with that, is what they told me.
So then this is a different gun you got.
Yeah, my guns now are different. I had to buy a new one.
Okay. So and the reason I'm diving into this, right? Because the suspect that's in Maine, they said he had to go through a mental health situation like that, right?
Yeah,
and he was able to get out. He was able to get out though, and you can see he still was able to maintain getting a gun. So what's the solution to this, Bushmaster?
What's the solution? Well,
Yeah.
one, you have, in my situation, you got a false report. Like I told you, the doctor said nothing was wrong with me. Or at least that's what the doctor said. He saw me for a few days, made sure I was taking my meds, things of that nature, and then let me go. So I don't know that guy's situation. I don't know. He was in there for 14 days, so I imagine he had a lot of problems.
And how long were you in?
How long was I in? 3 days. I said that earlier.
3 days. That's a long time, Bushmaster. Come on. It took you 3 days? What's going on?
Well, I had some issues with her, but it was hard to get help for her, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, she's not in there, though. So you're in there.
She should have been, though.
Yeah, but you were in there. That's the funny part.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Your
she
spouse in Alabama, your spouse can have you committed. That's what I'm telling you.
Well,
even if you didn't make a threat, because they can't take anything like that could be a threat as fake. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but you do understand my concern with this, right? Because right now the issue is we're giving a lot of people with mental health issues access to these guns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's a good idea. What about you?
I would say it depends on their mental state.
I mean, that's the problem. We don't know. 1 minute you're good. Next
Now
minute
you're
you're
talking
not.
about 1 minute. Well, you would be violating their HIPAA laws at that point, because that's between a doctor and a patient.
Right, but sometimes the doctor's not going to get it right, perhaps, and then we need to have some sort of assistance, right? What are you out and about Are you out and about somewhere?
Well, yeah, I'm packing a pack of cigarettes on a boat. I'm going into my truck.
Oh, okay.
Right now,
well, listen.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here.
Well, I get it. Well, I'm going to move on, all right? But
all right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, we'll talk later, all right? And go find another picture. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen. All right. All right. Let's switch it up. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I'm going to talk to attacking. Let's get it going. Attacking. What's going on?
Well, I found the information to what he did, what he showed the 2019.
Right.
Okay, and I scrolled down to read it. The meme was posted on August 5th. Let's see, the section of the website 4chan, which is notorious for forming far-right
4chan.
white. Yeah. And so basically it says the mass shooting 19 was poor subjects. Every person in charge was are arrested for shooting 4+ people. Underneath that was a college 2009 was college of 98 portrait photographs. Yeah.
College. It was college photo, so it wasn't an authentic picture.
No.
Well, this is. I mean, you know what was interesting is though, why when we start talking about the real culprit, do we always have to get to a point where they want to bring up minorities?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
And by the way, I recorded your arguments when you were in Snuggles' broadcast. Snuggles was saying that they're letting them out of prisons. Where's Snuggles' information on that, where they're letting the prisoners out of prison to come to America? He said that. He said they're opening their prisons and releasing the prisoners to come to America. Where's the information?
Right.
Where's the proof?
I couldn't get an answer on that, and I couldn't get an answer for why he refers to them as criminals when he doesn't know who they are.
And
I took issue with that, and that's why I brought them in the box. I took issue with it because all this talk about these folks coming in at the border, and you're accusing them of being criminals, but you don't know these folks.
Right.
Oh, Trump said it, so they believe him, right?
Exactly. And that's just it. If he's so worried and he wants everybody to carry a pew-pew.
Well, you know what? We're going to bring up some other people.
How can, you bring them up and I can talk. The thing is this. How come he's not worried about the sexual escapades of Trump and his perversion? If he's so worried about children and women, why is he lying about Trump? Why is he pushing the same lie of Trump that Trump is pushing? Why is he doing that if he has ethics and morals?
Somebody got an echo.
Why is he doing that? Somebody's got an echo. Hold on. No, Swervin, maybe you?
Yeah, I'm here.
You got you probably have an echo. It looks like you have an echo when I talk. Do you?
I have an echo?
Well, I hear something in the background.
No, that was a video I was watching.
Oh.
I didn't realize Zeus brought me up.
So the thing is this.
You sneaky little SOB, Zeus.
Snuggles lied through that entire conversation with you. Snuggles doesn't care about shit. He's passing. I even went to the Border Patrol page that he had MOD bring up information, and I went and I showed that on my page. It's down. Okay, and then he's talking about terrorists coming across the country. He was saying Hamas and Palestinians are coming across the border. Where does he have that information? Why doesn't he show it? I'll be quiet now. Let somebody else talk.
All right. So we all heard the conversation. All right. Let's start. Thank you, attacking. Let's move on to you, Dark Swervin.
So I was listening to Snuggles, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was absolutely appalled. I will never talk to him again. I know he's your friend, Zeus. I know y'all have talked to each other a long time. I will never talk to him again. To sit here and claim that you are a victim because your ancestors and my ancestors were enslaved, and for him to go, oh, here you go playing the victim card again. Okay? I have never in my life seen more white people want to be oppressed than the white people that are out there right now. Like Snuggles. I don't even know what Snuggles is. Okay? Bushmaster is another one. He gonna bring up a collage of pictures and say, well, these were shooters also. These were people who mass unalive people also. One, we don't know where that picture comes from. Two, you just had a bunch of pictures in there, but I bet you couldn't name one person in there, especially one of the black people. Okay? So I was absolutely appalled listening to Snuggles sit here and talk about how black people need to stop playing victim. Okay, we were slaves in this country. We were chattel slaves in this country. That lasted for over 400 years. I'm sure Snuggles is quite okay with the state of Florida saying, well, it was beneficial to them. Really? Because we didn't get to use any of those benefits for over 400 years. Because we lived under a system, as we still do today, we still live under a system of patriarchy and white supremacy that holds us back. And Snuggles will never understand that. We have generational trauma, which is inbred within us, where we just start to learn about our culture when we get old enough, and we start to know things, and we start to get agitated when white people are sitting there going, well, racism doesn't exist. And I wanted to come up when Bushmaster was here and say, Bushmaster, can you tell me who killed Ahmaud Arbery? Because I guarantee you he couldn't have been able to tell me. But it was 3 white men who chased Ahmaud Arbery down in a neighborhood and murdered him. Okay, and in my mind, that was a modern day lynching. And there's nobody that can say anything that's going to make me believe otherwise, pure and simple. But they don't know about that. They don't know about all the black men that have been unalived by police. And then they'll go, well, it happens to white people too. Okay, well, you get your All Lives Matter gear on and you go down there and protest. And then here's where the pure racism comes out. They constantly try to conflate January 6th to the BLM protest. When who caused most of the damage? White people. The Boogaloo Boys. The Oath Keepers. The One Percenters. 2 police officers, 2 white police officers from Texas. These are the ones who started the violence. These are the ones who started the fires. It wasn't black people. I mean, maybe we did take out that target. I don't know. But the other ones, go look up the Umbrella Man on YouTube. It was a police officer, a white police officer who was just walking down the street busting windows. Go look it up on YouTube. Umbrella Man, BLM protest. You'll find it. It was a white police officer. Okay? These people are now spending time in prison for the destruction that they caused. But you want to blame it all on BLM. BLM sparked an international movement for police brutality to stop in several countries. That's what BLM did. January 6th was to put a bootlicking, it was to put Mango Mussolini back in power. That's what it was for.
Orange
Your
Caligula
cause had one objective, to put a white man back in the White House. BLM's cause had several objectives. The main one, stop police brutality. And when George Floyd's neck got knelt on for 9 minutes by a white man, yeah, we looked at that and we said, yep, here's the system of patriarchy. Here's the system of white supremacy. And now Derek Chauvin is going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Good. Good. So they can miss me with all this garbage about us being victims and this and that, because we were victims. Our ancestors were victims. And we feel that pain to this day. And if you can't feel our pain, or you're sitting here talking about, I don't see color, then shut up. Don't even talk to me. Don't even talk to me. Because if you don't see my color, you don't see who I am. You don't know who I am. You don't know nothing about me. And you don't want to know nothing about me. So you can miss me with all this garbage. So to people like Bushmaster and Snuggles, I'll never talk to Snuggles again. I'll never talk to Snuggles again, because I don't want to talk to Snuggles again after I heard what I heard. He is nothing but a racist. And yeah, I said it with my whole chest. He is nothing but a racist. To sit there, Zeus, for him to sit there and say, oh, well, you're just claiming the victim card and you want to be the victim. Why don't black people do this? And why don't... No, miss me with that garbage. Because it's his people that are constantly trying to take away our educational rights. It is his people that are constantly trying to whitewash our history. It is his people that is banning books. So Snuggles, if you don't see that, I don't know if you're still here. Snuggles, if you don't see that, then you are clearly the racist that I'm calling you right now. And that's all I'm going to say, Zeus. I'm going to put myself back on mute till you call me again.
All right. All right.
Yeah. So what I heard from Snuggles was that he wants to keep criminals out of here. So what he's assuming is that everybody is a criminal. And that may have been mentioned earlier. Sorry, I was dealing with the baby. But what you didn't hear him say was, you know, I want people to come here legally. I want them to... He essentially just clumped them all as criminals. And that's what he did. And it was pretty blatant. And it's like, okay, so why are they criminals? Please tell us why they're criminals. What is the characteristic that they have that makes them a criminal? And then to take it one step further, he said that, like, during 9/11 we had people here who were training to fly planes. So he just made it obvious that he was talking about color. It wasn't even like he was trying to hide it. And I just think that's just such a disturbing thing to say.
You got a lot of noise there, Z-Pot.
Oh, my bad. I'm in the car, so I'm trying to talk while I'm parked. But the last point that I wanted to make was about the AR-15. The way that you stop this is by getting rid of that weapon. And to the people that say, well, we need it to defend against the government, all I would say to that is you're 100-point underdogs already to the United States government. You're not coming in hot with an AR-15 and saving yourself from a drone. And at the end of the day, getting rid of the AR-15 doesn't take away your First Amendment rights. You still have them. You still have the ability to own a weapon. You just don't need a weapon that's insane. And yeah, I do believe in, like, buyback programs and things of that nature to get them off the streets, because what good are they? They're not doing anything. They're the number one choice right now for this type of unaliving. And you look at the Thompson machine gun in the 30s when the mob had it. What did they do? They said, "Oh, we got to get that off the street. That's not good. That's a very, bad weapon. We don't want that on the streets." And not a single person complained about it. Nobody cared. They were like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. It's a really bad, and yes, I understand that's a different type of weapon. But the point is, it didn't matter to the the Second Amendment folks. It had no bearing on their opinion. Getting rid of one specific gun doesn't take away your First Amendment right. And that is what it seems that they don't understand. And if they really want to have a pissing match with the government, I think we should have, there was a comedian that said we should have a reminder every year of how powerful our government is. We just line up the drone, and then we line up the guy with the AR-15, and we say, all right, on your mark, get set, go, done in 70 seconds. That's it. That's the reality.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, Z-Pot. All right.
Z-Pot, I just wanted to say, if they... first of all, the Second Amendment is never going to go away. We're always going to have the Second Amendment. If they do take the AR-15 off the market, there are other guns, pew-pews, do the exact same thing that just simply look different. Mm-hmm. There's laws that say a gun must be built to these parameters, XYZ, and that particular weapon is built to XYZ, and that's the law. Now, there's going to be other ones that will function 100% exactly the same, would just look different. So, and I also wanted to point out, if it weren't for that, it would be something else. In 2018, for a short time, London overtook New York City with their murder rate and with knives, and they even regulate the sale of knives. It's a violent culture that we live in, and it's all around us. Everywhere we look, it's happening. All shades, all varieties, and it's terrible.
Well, I just think that at the end of the day, unfortunately, people ruin things for other people. And that's just how life works. There's a lot of things in life that have been changed because certain people couldn't behave. And at the end of the day, if there are other weapons that are like the AR-15, then you get rid of them too. You get rid of all of those weapons that have the ability to fire at a high rate. Or or you get rid of the magazines and you reduce them. A lot of states have said you can only have 10 rounds. Then maybe that's what has to be done. But to sit here on your hands and do nothing about it, you're just essentially okay with the slaughter of innocent people. And
I'm
that's
not
just the
okay.
You're
reality.
not
I'm
going
not
to
okay
unalive
with sitting
18 people in
and
under a
doing
minute
nothing.
with a knife. You're not going to unalive 18 people with a knife
Yeah.
in less than a minute.
I mean, I'm not saying that you specifically are okay with it, but I'm just saying, like, to sit back and not push for any type of change
Well, I think it needs to be
is
reviewed. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Exactly.
I'm I'm saying after the review of this, it's probably going to be determined that there was a breakdown in some of the existing laws in which he still had that. I would suspect that coming out of a 2 week mental institution stay, there should have been a follow up, and there probably should have been something done so he wouldn't have had his hands on that. If existing laws were truly enforced and obeyed, then this wouldn't have happened.
Donald Trump removed an executive order done by Barack Obama that would cover people with mental issues getting pew-pews. Donald Trump removed that executive order in February, the first month after he was president.
I'm not a Trump supporter, not at
Okay, I
all.
will admit, being from the state of Maine, there are unfortunately yellow flag laws, not red flag laws. And that's unfortunate
in
because
the last. Oh, sorry. Go
this
ahead. Go
pew
ahead. Go ahead.
pewer's mom knew his mental illness state, his mental health was suffering. So we need to have red flag laws here in the state of Maine, not just yellow flag laws.
I just think that in another point that to try to respond to what you said. I mean, I just think that, like, I see the comments that say, semi-automatic weapons, and there's a lot of, pistols that are semi-auto. I know that. It's not that I don't know that. It's just that the weapon of choice seems to be this one, much like the Thompson machine gun was in the 30s, and they said, hey, we're going to get rid of this, and nobody cared. The only reason people care now are because the right has become so radicalized with guns that they cannot literally understand that this is something that needs to change. And I just think that if you can't accept that, then you're looking at this happening and continuing to happen. We had an assault weapon ban that George Bush let expire that nobody had a single problem with for so many years. Nobody gave a shit about it. The only reason it became an issue was because you have radical people on the right side of the aisle, and I will say that. Radical people.
I completely agree. Now, we got Robert here, Shay, and Nutty. Let's
Yeah.
start with Nutty. Nutty, did you want to say something? And then I'll go to
Dip
Shay and
down.
Robert.
I gotta go. But
All
thank you.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, so very quickly, a couple things. Bushmaster said that uh, his ex-wife didn't have access to his weapons, but yet she sold them. So that right there tells she had access to the weapons. I don't know if anyone else caught that. So she can't sell something she doesn't have access to. That's the number one point. Number two, and this is specifically to Snuggles and anyone else, not just Snuggles. I'm sick of white people getting up in these lives, telling black people, trying to set the tone for number one, for what's racist, and for number two, they want to bring, when we're talking about the issue of race, they bring up Chicago. They bring up Chicago. Stop it.
Right.
Stop it. When it comes
Chicago's
to
not even the most violent.
absolutely, absolutely. When it comes to mass unalivings, well, let me go back. Yes, and then one of the other talking points is black on black crime. Well, let me say something about that. When black people unalive black people, it's because they typically have a beef with the person that they're unaliving.
Mhm.
Typically, it's still wrong and it's still disgusting. So nobody's condoning it. But when these mass unalivers that are white decide, they just wake up and be like, "Oh, today is a good day to go unalive some people."
Mhm.
There's a difference, folks.
Yep.
It's all disgusting in the end. So I'm not, saying anything positive about anybody being unalive. But there
Correct.
is a distinctive difference. There's a distinctive difference. And time and time and time again, when it comes to these mass unalivings, it's typically a person that's not non-melanated, excuse me. Typically. Now, there are some cases where it is melanated folks, and guess what? I'm actually surprised when that happens. But
I
it
am
does
too.
happen.
And they
I
don't
am
survive.
too.
It
And they
does
don't
happen.
survive.
So again, nobody's saying that it's less wrong because somebody of color has done it. It's all wrong. And what is
Right.
the common denominator? It's death and the tool that's used to do it.
Yep. Can I
Those are the
speak to
two
that?
things.
No,
I'm heated
go
right
ahead.
now, so I'm going to go back on pause and let somebody else speak. Thanks for letting me have this time, Zeus.
All right. Thank you, Dark Nutty.
I didn't mean to step on Nutty Professor, but I'm sorry. That is just undoing me. Is the thing when we mess up, there's no second chance. Like y'all don't. My background. My name is Robert Callahan. I'm an attorney. I live in Texas. I'm 2 hours south of Dallas Fort Worth. So y'all remember 2000? There was I can't remember what the
I think it
occasion
was
was, but
Shay's turn next.
there was an
I think
officer
it was
that
Shay's turn to speak next.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna shut up then.
Hey, girlfriend.
Hey,
Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
hey, no, it's all good. He can. I mean, I'll be quick. So yeah, when I was listening to Snuggles live, I mean, it's disgusting, and he got so upset with you pushing the quote unquote race card, right? But the entire time he talked about human beings as these people. The entire time he talked about those people assuming just because it's a group of men and there's no women and no grandparents that they're coming in to do some harm. Again, the only reason you're assuming that is because their skin color, because they're coming in from the southern border. And then I want to know how you know that these men are Syrian. I mean, if they're just coming across, how do you know who they are? That makes no sense. It can't even follow a line of thinking, right? It's like, well, how do you know they're all Syrian if supposedly they're just coming in undocumented and no one knows where they're coming from? I mean, you can't even follow your own line of condemning these people. You can't even follow your line of thinking. It's ridiculous. And he gets upset. How dare you call me racist? It's the same thing with the Michelle Obama thing. He was so upset at me for calling him a racist and a transphobe. It's like, well, yeah, when you promote such nonsense as Michelle Obama, as Michael Obama, what do you expect? Like, there's only one reason you're doing this, because it fits your narrative. And
Okay.
I get so done with it. But yeah, so.
Shay, you
Yes.
can go to DHS website and see how many have been apprehended from countries in which harbor terrorists and avowed destruction of the United States that were apprehended, and quite a few of them were from Syria. And you can
Okay.
also look at an AP story and see where Hamas is actually functioning in South America. That is on the AP. So there are people that were apprehended that 100% verified from these countries that wish to do us harm. And I'm pro immigration, but there's thousands actually. If you look at the list on the DHS website of people coming in from countries in which to do us harm, but I'm pro immigration as long as they do it legally, and I'm for asylum seekers as well.
Right. No, I get you that. Yeah, sure, that's going on, but it's his images that he's using. It's pictures that he's using. You don't know that group of people. That's what I'm saying. I think is the way he goes about it. If you want to put up a chart and exactly say what you just said, Michael, that's not a problem with me. I understand, and that's facts, right? But it's the way he's presenting the information that comes across like, look at these group of people. You know what I mean? And we don't know if that for sure that group of people are Syrians, if that makes sense. It's how you do it. It's how you educate. You need to be really careful. If you're going to talk about facts, let's talk about facts. And I appreciate that, Michael, what you said. Thank you. That I believe you. Okay, we're having some issues. That makes sense. but it's real dangerous the way he's doing it. Very dangerous. So, and that's, yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, this man that unalived 18 of my fellow Mainers, he's a homegrown terrorist. He is homegrown. He is right from here. He is 1 hour from me. He is home freaking grown. And the first thing I hear, people saw that picture. Oh, he's Middle Eastern descent. I heard a bunch of people in this area saying he was, oh, that's Middle Eastern descent. That was a white, homegrown man right here. And the last thing I want to say too, I don't know if anybody remembers Philando Castile, but he was pulled over for a broken taillight. And because of that broken taillight, he was unalived. If I got pulled over with a broken taillight, I would be let off with a verbal warning. And that's the reality here.
And Philando was a licensed owner and let the officer know that he was a licensed
He did
owner.
everything by the book. He was supposed to do.
There's no prisoners taken. The one incident that I can remember that was publicized in the last 10 years where the mass unaliver was in Dallas, and it was like 2014, 2015. Y'all may remember this. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was a bad police stop that led to the usual thing where one of us gets unalived. And so there were protests. And for like 3 days, all of Texas was united about this. And then it got messed up because there was a minority, there was a black man. I think I can say that on these without erasing flags. It's a black man that went up into a building in Dallas and he started unaliving people with a rifle and that were a part of the protest indiscriminately. And when later on, we found out that dude had mental health issues too. But I don't know. I bring this up because I don't know if y'all remember this. It's the only time I know of, and it was the first time, the police used a drone to take him out. Do y'all remember this? They sent in a robot that they usually use for like detecting explosives and set one off.
Just wow.
No
just
due process.
wow.
No due process. Like y'all can look it up. Go. You can go Google it up. So I don't know if I'm an attorney. So like this is my background. So like when we mess up, no, like there's no Miranda warnings given. There's no like it's one and done. But when these guys mess up, oh, it's mental health, it's this thing. There's reasons why it lays out the way that it does. Okay, the Department of Justice, I think it was back in 2018 or so, did a report. I'm probably wrong on the years, probably 2018, 2017, but you can Google it. They did a report. A lot of law enforcement agencies in the United States have been infiltrated by white supremacist groups. And more recently, within the last year, you've seen a lot of these agencies start letting go of officers because they had tattoos that revealed their associations. And now the officers are trying to sue to keep their jobs, which is just crazy, right? But it's absolutely systemic. And so I don't even bother. Like as we talked, I think Michael might have been the one earlier was talking about, well, it's a little bit like whack-a-mole because like if you take away the AR, then there's going to be something else. There's going to be a modification. What we have to remember is I think that it's very lazy of us to assume that the solution has to be a silver bullet. Let me rephrase that. It's very lazy of us to think that a solution has to be the silver bullet. So like it's like, oh no, we can't put metal detectors in our schools, because that's not going to prevent the problem. You don't have any problem putting them over here in this school district where the kids look like me. So what's wrong with putting them over here in this school district? Oh, well, we can't ban the AR because then they'll just use FALs. Okay, so then we'll take care of FALs. Oh, we can't use mental health restrictions because then there's going to be another. Do it all, but do something. Like,
For me, the thing is,
right? Like, I mean, there's
for me, the thing is, and I don't mean to cut anyone off, but I'm going to drop down here in a couple of minutes. But two things real quick. They talk about how mental health is the issue, yet every time we turn around, they're making it easier for the issue to get its hands on a firearm. Every time we turn around. And that was Snuggles' idea. Let's give everybody a firearm. Okay, and how are we going to vet 350 million people to make sure they're mentally competent enough to hold on to a firearm? So, and again, that's why I think Snuggles is just a fool. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to say is they're worried about criminals coming across the border, you know, and this is nothing but a right-wing talking point. We have they will get up, these Republican congressional Republicans and senatorial Republicans, they will get up on TV and say the Biden administration isn't doing anything. We have criminals coming across the border on a daily basis. Yeah, but you won't address the own crime in your district. We've heard Jim Jordan say this, and Jim Jordan's district has a higher crime rate than New York City. Okay, and those people are not immigrants. Those are the Ohioans that live in his district. All right, so you don't have criminals coming across the border. But I'm really concerned that they never want to talk about the white men in this country who commit the most crimes, whether it be white collar, SA, some kind of assault, burglary, whatever the case may be. It is white men in this very country that commit the most crimes, and they commit the most violent crimes against women. Okay? But they never want to talk about their own. They never want to try to clean up their own backyard. They never want to do anything for their own backyard. They want to blame migrants because they need somebody to blame. They need a boogeyman. And I want you guys to resonate on that for a minute. And Zeus, I'm going to go ahead and drop down. Oh, he's not in his chair, but I'm going to go ahead and drop myself down. You guys resonate on
I'm
that for a
here.
moment.
I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. All right, Zeus, I'm going to go ahead and drop myself
Zeus
down.
is all, I'm all around this live.
I appreciate you.
y'all.
I appreciate you having me up, brother. I'm gonna get myself out of here for the night and get my pups outside and figure out what's for dinner. And I'll talk to you later, man. But I'm just tired. I'm just tired of these racists blaming migrants for everything.
Right, which is the reason I had the conversation with Snuggles to begin with. As
Yeah.
much as they don't want to make it about race, unfortunately or fortunately, it is about race.
Yeah,
and we will continue to have this conversation.
There are over 60,000. I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but they always talk about what's going on at the southern border. There are over 60,000 Canadian immigrants in this country with expired visas right now. Yeah. Over 60,000. But they won't talk about them. You know why? Because they look too much like people like Snuggles.
Exactly.
Well, look what sorry, I thought you were.
So let me get out of here real quick. Zeus, I love you, brother. Thank you for having me up.
All right.
Everyone
love you as well.
Thank you all for entertaining my rhetoric. And
all right.
You all have a great evening.
Look, I love you, man.
Good night, Swerve. Take care of yourself.
Love you, man. Take care.
All right.
Thank you all so very much. Thank you.
Oh.
All right.
Thank you all so very much. I'll see you all again very soon. Good night, girlfriend.
Good night, boyfriend.
Oh my God. Keep it clean.
Real quick before I go, Shay, I ran into Animal Reservoir about 3 weeks ago.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did. It was about 2:00 in the morning, and he was still talking the same BS in a conservative live. And the conservatives that were in the box with him, they were like, "Yeah, see, that's the kind of thing the Democrats don't want to talk about."
Wowzers.
So
All right.
you all take care of your animal reservoir. I'll let Shay
All
tell
right.
you what that is.
Oh my
Good night,
God. All
everybody.
right. Good
Thank you all
night,
so
sir.
much. I appreciate you. I love
Swerve,
you.
take
All
care.
right. Good night. Good
Hey,
night. All right.
I'm gonna
We got.
drop too, Zeus.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
You're
Oh, bye,
welcome.
Ems.
Everyone, keep
All
my
right.
Bye,
fellow
Em.
maniacs in your
Thank you.
heart. No thoughts and prayers. Let's get some sensible gun laws. Thanks, guys.
Exactly.
All
Yeah.
right. All
All
right.
right,
Now we
sweetheart.
got
Love you, girl.
Love
we
you.
got Anita here. Thank you, Dark Ange. All right. All right. We got Anita who's next, then Hawk, and then Felice. All right. We got an awesome panel. Let's go.
Hey,
Can I
thanks
jump
for
in?
having me up.
Can I jump in?
Omnipotent Juice, good, please.
Oh,
Let me just, because this is a super quick thought,
okay.
and it's off of what Swerve was saying. There's something about whiteness and patriarchy. Like he was pointing out, it's white men. There's something about whiteness and patriarchy, and they go hand in hand walking down the beach together. And so that's the commonality. That's the recipe. I'm done.
All right. All right. And then we have User and I think Dark CC. So Anita, I'm so sorry, but you
You're
can
fine.
go.
No
And
worries.
then
Okay, so so my position is 100% clear. Snuggles and people like conservative Chris in the comments, they are the willfully ignorant and the clearly obtuse. There's no way to reach them because they revel in their ignorance. They don't want to learn. They don't want new information. They don't care about new information. Nothing. There's 30% of America that we're not able to reach. Like they're too far gone. It's a mess. I'm so sorry. Guess what? You're still not over losing the Civil War. You can't sit with me. Okay? You can't sit with us. Go take your sideways cross and go play in the dirt somewhere, but far away from me. We're never going to be friends.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put that out there 100%. I have
I
people that are
understand.
conservative that I'm friends with. I have people from all different walks of life that I love and respect. I'm very fond of them. But can't, they won't stand behind somebody who has a manifesto and goes out with the intent to do harm to people based on how they pray, how they look, where they work, or anything like that.
So let's.
As far as I saw a comment
And
earlier
Somebody
about,
got
well, Native
feedback.
Americans don't complain about racism.
Somebody has
They
feedback. So
do.
if you're not talking, can you mute? I'm sorry. Just I wanted to say that because there's some sort of feedback I'm hearing. If you're not talking,
Oh,
please mute.
sorry.
All
So
right.
somebody said something about Native Americans don't complain about racism. We ignore Native Americans in this country. We ignore when the women are taken. We ignore when we find bodies years later. We ignore the crimes against the people that have lived on this continent the longest. We stole their land and relegated them to these small pockets in the country. So just because you're not complaining about it, maybe you're not listening.
So let
As
me.
far as this whole, everything can't be about race, then don't make it all about race. Don't make it all about, well, I don't understand because I don't live that life. You have the luxury of not having to live with the same risks as other people that don't look like you. I can go see my cousins in the projects and be just fine. I can walk through these little privileged South Florida streets and be just fine. I'm a lady. I'm palish. I get privilege to walk and go any place I please. If I take one of my cousins who's darker than me, darker than a paper bag, why are you in this neighborhood? That's an awful nice car. What do you do for a living? The disrespect and just the assumption of guilt based on how people look is freaking ridiculous. I'm so glad Gen Z is aging in, and these fossils their time's up. Time's up, chumps. The kids are going to vote you right the heck out because they don't play that. That is all.
Let me say this before the new crew says anything. Is that Snuggles mentioned the 9/11 attackers that came from Saudi Arabia. They were here legally, from what I understand. So he tried to use that in your conversation. Also, when it is a white mass shooter, they say it's a mental illness. If it's anything other than white, it's terrorism. That's what all I wanted to say right there.
Thank you for that nugget of truth attacking. Appreciate it. All right, police. Oh, wait. Hawk. Sorry, Hawk. Greetings, champ.
How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. I'm all
good.
right.
I didn't hear this live that you guys are talking about, but I'm sure it's a lot of the same BS talking points. I did hear what Michael said before I came in, and he gave the list of all of the Syrians supposedly coming across the border. And even if that's true and they have this documentation, guess what? That means that they were stopped and caught at the border by Border Patrol and documented and processed and everything else. So it's probably not them, right? That would be the first thing. Then, for clear transparency, let me say I'm one of those guys. I'm retired military. I like my pew-pews. I actually have one of the ones that we discuss all the time. But I also believe in common sense. And my issue is the things that they could do to correct it is the stuff that they don't want to do. We could make licensing and training a requirement. It would be much like automobiles. You would have to take a written test, a practical application test. You would have to go through a month or so of training, much like the military or whatever. You would have to do all of those things and then maybe even have to get insurance, right? The other thing is not only a background check, but either a mental health background check or make an appointment, go see a therapist and have them clear you before you can get a license. So there's a lot of things that we could do that would prevent all of the stuff that's going on. They always claiming the mental health thing, but they don't do anything to improve mental health, right? We won't even check the mental health of some of these people, right? So those are things that we could do. And I've got it all in my head exactly how they could do it. Like I said, they would have to go through training so we know they're qualified and they understand the safety aspects of what having one of those things actually means, right? And after that training, then they would have to go through a thorough written test and a thorough practical application test. Again, much like driving. You have to do all of that before you can get a driver's license and buy a car. Why shouldn't you have to do all of that before you can buy one of these things and own it, right? Then we know that the vast majority of the people that have them are qualified and able to use them, and we're all safer. That just makes sense to me.
Yeah,
That's pretty much what I came up to say, Zeus.
All right. I mean, yeah, it does make sense, and it's what they call common sense at the end of the day. But I guess as they say, common sense isn't all that common, especially when it starts affecting your bottom line.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I
Yep.
appreciate you. All right, and let's move on to Felice. How are you doing, Felice?
Hi. I don't know if we've ever officially met, but I feel like we
I
know each
don't
other.
think we have. I don't think we have, but I've seen your content. I've seen you in action before, so I'm familiar with how you speak on things. So it's a
Yeah,
pleasure to
so
meet you.
this is just coming. I want to be as calm as possible and just come from an educational background as someone with a degree in history. So I heard what Snuggles was saying, and I think this is a common problem. And I also, as an educator, what has happened in America and happens around the world is education has failed everyone, right? So we can sit and say that 30% of America is unreachable. Education has failed them as well as everyone else in this country equally. Now, when you talk about a cult mindset, which I don't like to say the word cult because no one likes that word, but it's about a group psychosis, right? So re-education, reprogramming of someone who's in a cult in order to bring them out of a group psychosis or that type of mindset that's based in community psychosis, what needs to happen is we need to cast doubt, right? So and we can never change anyone's mind. Only an individual can change their own mind. But what we can do is consistently at different touch points, we cast doubt and say, Does this seem logical? Like, well, what if this? And that's really all we can do here. And for me, coming from an educational standpoint, just to speak to the racism thing, what we need to understand in this country is the far right, and let's just say not to say there's no minorities on the far right, but the far right is majority Caucasian. So let's speak to that. And just to speak to my background, just so everyone knows, I'm German, African American, and indigenous Mexican from the Yaqui tribe. So I'm very all over the map. But to the far right, who's predominantly Caucasian, to the far left and the minorities who are voting in the culture wars to sort of, we're in the trenches taking grenades, trying to fight for our rights. We are all being disenfranchised by the same people. They want us to fight. The enemy is not each other. It is the donor class, right? The people who are donating millions upon millions of dollars and controlling the political system. This is what they want. They want us to fight. Now, let me explain to you what I mean when I say we are both being disenfranchised. The donor class is imperialism, right? And I think, Robert, what you said was something I wanted to just touch on. You said, I've noticed it's white and it's the patriarchy and it's white supremacy. And that's exactly imperialism. And when it was forming with the British Empire, it sort of was galvanized around white supremacy, saying Western civilization, Western Europe, and we're going to protect these people. We look alike, we share similar space, similar culture, so we will protect these people. And when capitalism was developing, it started in Britain in the 16th century, 17th century, and when it was developing, what does capitalism require? Exponential growth and non-stop resources, right? And we're not taking from ourselves. We have to go to other countries. Now, what we call the third world, what is the third world? After World War II, right, anyone who didn't take a side, so Western civilization versus the other people who lost, right, and any country who said, we're not going to get involved in this, we refer to as the third world, and then we did what America does best, embargo the out of them, right? Cut off their economies, refuse to trade, tell other countries, if you trade with them, we don't like you anymore. We will make your life very hard. An embargo used to not just be an agreement or sanctions. It used to be the British Navy literally blockading a country so no supplies could come in, right? So my point being is white supremacy and the patriarchy, this is something so deep, but what we need to stop doing is going to the far right and saying, you white people, because it's not them, right? It's the donor class. It's these people. Now, when I say that white people, middle class and lower, have been disenfranchised, just like minorities, let me give you an example of that. Why does white supremacy exist? How does that work, right? Because think about it. Most white people, just like you're screaming from the far right, hey, something's wrong in this country, right? Like you feel it in your gut, you know something's wrong. Something is wrong, you're just a little off about what it actually is, right? You're being disenfranchised, you're being robbed. Just like we're being robbed, our money is being taken. The 1% is taking our money out of circulation and hoarding it at the top of the economy. It's creating scarcity. It's not being reinvested. Shocker, Reagan's trickle-down economics, in the words of Hakeem Jeffries, you might get trickle-down economics, you might get a trickle, but you're guaranteed to stay down. It does not work. They are keeping the money, they are hoarding it. Billionaires should not exist. They should be taxed out of existence, right? Just like with Eisenhower, anything above $1 million should be taxed at 90%. Wealth needs to be reinvested into our economy. So white people on the far right, you are being robbed by the donor class. Minorities, we are being robbed by the donor class. As long as we continue to fight each other and argue about what's what, that's exactly what they want. They'll keep robbing us all blind. Sorry, I know that was long.
No, but I'm with you all up until we have to sort of find peace. I have nothing in common with someone who believes in the systemic extermination of people that don't look like them. I will never be friends with them. I will never stand shoulder to shoulder with them. They are their own freaking problem. Go rot in the bog that you came from.
Okay,
That's my
so
position.
let me just tell you something else then. Let me take it to you from this way. There's a recent Harvard study that came out that determines we don't have free will. You just think you do. Besides being a teacher, my actual longest profession is I was an advertising executive. My job is to make you think, Anita, that you have an idea, but it wasn't your idea at all. It was my idea. And what we call that outside of advertising is psyops. None of us have our own ideas. The white supremacy and racism has to exist to suppress the minority classes, because why? Capitalism and imperialism has to run on cheap and slave laborers, and we've determined that that comes from brown people in this world. So that racism has to exist. They don't even know why they feel that way. Like, not really. So this is, I mean, this stuff is as old as time. And I get it, Anita. There are hateful people out there. I don't want to associate with them either. I'm just trying to say, from the bigger picture, this is we are all pawns.
Hey guys,
We're all being moved around the board. None of this has anything to do with us. We are all pawns.
absolutely. Felice, I couldn't agree more. Just breaking news, guys. The FBI is outside of the mass shooter for Maine, outside of his house right now. There's a
Wow.
Yeah, the FBI is at the suspect's home. Come out with your hands up. That's live right now happening.
The chat was just talking about that.
7:25 in Maine. Yep. Yeah, somebody was in the chat saying that, and I'm confirming it. So anyway, just wanted to say.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Shay. All right.
Yours. Good job, Felice.
But yeah, sorry, Shay. I just wanted to say that, but I don't want to dismiss bigotry that's going on in this country. But what I'm saying is, Snuggles gets so defensive, and he's like, feels like he's under attack. We have to get away from that and recognize who the actual enemy is. Like, if we ever want to endeavor to change, and it's the same thing I would say to white people in this country, right? It's very interesting to me right now what's going on, because we had the BLM movement and all white people were like, we need to look to minorities and particularly black women and indigenous women to talk to us about social justice and the cause. And, and we all of a sudden valued minorities' input on that, on social justice, on racism, on imperialism, on white supremacy, on the patriarchy. And then when minorities are saying, hey, not just domestically, but foreign, look what imperialism is doing. Right? There's genocide, there's ethnic cleansing going on, just like it happened in America with the indigenous peoples. There's ethnic cleansing going on outside of America. And now today, the same white people that were like, let's listen to the minorities, they know they know social justice. All of a sudden, if you say anything about any other genocide in this world, I don't know, Palestine, then you're a horrible person, right? You can be pro-Palestine and not be anti-Semitic, right? You can not support an ethnic cleansing or an apartheid state that every international court in the world has called an ethnic cleansing, and still not be anti-Semitic. And that's all I want to say. So there's hypocrisy going on both sides, but what we all need to recognize is the machine that is imperialism that is churning, right? Correct. Joe Biden said it 30 years ago. If Israel did not exist, we would have to create an Israel. All we are doing in Ukraine and in Israel, I know this is a different class. I won't switch to foreign policy, but is protecting our interests. Capitalism requires resources, and we are protecting our access to resources.
That is correct.
This is not about helping anyone.
Our people from getting pulled into World War III. Do you understand that if Ukraine folds, that Russia is
listen, I 100% understand Western civilization. I have a degree in history. What I'm telling you is that's protecting resources, right?
Right. We
cannot allow a European country to be invaded, right? Because we're protecting our resources in the region, the supply chain. Right? Our world economy is so interconnected that we cannot allow Europe to be in war. That doesn't have to do with we're saving the Ukrainian people. That has to do with protecting our interests, protecting the U.S. economy.
We can take out two bags of trash at the same time. You know that, right?
Yes, but I understand that. I'm just talking about what we are doing. We're
okay. I'm saying we can do both.
Yep.
Can I bridge?
Well, yep, she's right.
Sure.
Can I bridge something that both of you have touched on? Anita.
Yeah, and then I want to go to user after. All right, but yeah, go ahead.
Anita was earlier saying that it's about 30% of our country that is just unreachable, which personally I agree with, because if you look at the polling numbers, if you remember 2015, leading up to the election, everywhere that he participated in a primary, he didn't participate in Iowa, but everywhere that he participated in a primary, consistently, Trump pulled about 30% of the vote. And this is when there were other candidates, other Republican candidates. So like 30% of the country was like, no, that's my dog. That's who I'm riding with. That's who I want. And so you just like, there's no reasoning for that, because even at that point, their own party was turning and speaking to them and saying like, what are you guys doing? So like they're unreachable. But then when you're talking about this concept of psyops, like where these 2 points meet is that there comes a, like 2020 happened. Like we all saw in our homes, all isolated, what happened with George Floyd, what happened with Ahmaud Arbery, what happened with Breonna Taylor. I can't teach you how to be a good human. I can't ask you enough questions to sow enough doubt to teach you as an adult how to be a good human. If you don't have that in you already, it's gone. There are some people that are more human than others. And so if you haven't made that connection, those synapses and neurons post 2020, they're not going to connect. And so it's true that we can influence politics, commercialism, like all psyops is a real thing, but there's some people that we can't reach them. It's in the same way that like when COVID first happened, the vaccine wasn't out yet. There's the imagery of the matches, and it was like, if you have a matchbook and you light one match, then you've got a matchbook full of flames. But if you separate one in the middle, then you create that gap and it creates a buffer for the other ones. We have to be okay creating that space and hopefully letting some people just pass off, fade off, like whatever it is, lose a political power, whatever means that is. We need to be okay creating that buffer and saying bye, because there's some people that are just irredeemable, and there's no sense in us trying to reach them.
Okay, so you're talking about voting though. I'm not talking about the vote. You're saying, when you say unreachable, are you talking about to get them? Because you're talking about primaries. You're talking about 30% of the primaries. I'm saying I'm not talking about getting people to vote our way. Like
I'm talking culturally. I'm talking in specifically, like my lane is the white evangelical industrial complex. The people that identify, the 80% of people that rode hard for Trump in 2015 did it again in 2020. That just keep voting for him, that identify themselves as evangelicals, even though they may not actually be what we would typically call functioning Christians. They may go to church like once a year. They don't actually have a
Fake
faith.
Fake Christians.
But right, and they identify themselves on the exit polls as evangelicals. That's the group. And so whether it's talking about, and this affects all aspects, right? This affects, if they're in medicine, this affects morbidity and mortality rates. It affects education with the school to prison pipeline. It affects law enforcement and how we train our officers. It affects pew control. It touches everything. But
I agree with what you're saying, but I think that the answer then to that is education. Like this is again, I started with education because the problem with this is education. How do you lift people out of misogynistic, racist, backwards, religious indoctrination has always been the answer is education. And that's why, like the extreme, let's ban the Department of Education is extreme and unintelligent. What the Republican Party has successfully done for decades is starve the Department of Education, make sure it's just barely functioning. And that is the goal, because education, right, lifts people out of these mindsets. So I totally agree with you. And I know that it's just harder for me because I was raised super evangelical, like indoctrinated evangelical. I didn't understand. I mean, if you just knew who I was, I didn't know. I just was raised like that. Okay, I was convinced that if you don't know, if you are a product of your environment, of the culture that you and community that you were brought up in. And I can't tell you how many people had to hammer it into me, and I didn't get it the first 600 times. But look at me go now. You know what I'm saying? Like, So like you never know. Like but I'm not saying I don't think it's too time consuming. I'm not suggesting like let's all reach out to Snuggles and save him. Like I'm not
No.
saying I'm just presenting a broader picture. I do think the answer is education. Like
All right,
open
Zeus,
your
I'm going to
eyes.
talk.
But I
Yes.
think my
Yes.
more point is the donor class. When white people said we're gonna eradicate racism domestically, right? The BLM after the BLM movement and all these allies were like, here we go, like we're gonna attack racism. You're not fighting the racist guy in Alabama. You're fighting the donor class who's using white supremacy as a tool, right, to gain wealth.
All right.
So it's like,
Now I
who was
want to
it,
move
Guru,
on.
that said you talk about crime, but you're scared of jail? I don't think we're going to vote our way out of this. Not to be
Oh my
cynical, but
God.
when people are
Can you
like,
hear me?
hey, we got
Shut
to
up.
vote harder, we got to
Hold
vote
on.
harder.
Don't yell. Don't yell. Hold on.
Wow.
All right. All right. Can y'all hear me?
That's
Yeah, I
polite.
can
Can
hear
Yes.
you,
y'all?
Zeus.
Okay. Yeah. Everybody, listen up. All right. Listen. We got a lot going on. They got him with his hands up. They said, "Tell him to come outside." All right. We're getting somewhere. I don't
Well,
know if they're gonna get him, but let's keep the conversation going. All right. User and then Poetivity. Let's keep it going. Thank you so much, Felice. All right. I mean, open after we all kind of get our piece out.
Thank you for
It's
the
gonna be
conversation,
I
guys.
don't like the fact that I think it was
what?
All right,
6:47.
can
Wait a
I
They
second.
speak
shut
now?
up.
Wait a second. Okay, I'm trying to get. Oh, Felice left. Okay. Listen. We're going to do user, then Poetivity, and then I just want to give everybody the opportunity to be heard, and then you guys can all talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, we don't need to yell "shut up" at people, or you can drop down if
Tell
you're
them.
not going to have decorum.
Tell them, Shay. Yes, we must
Yeah,
have
that's
decorum.
rude.
That was good.
That is rude. All right. So, user, what's going on?
Okay, first of all, I want to say hi to everybody. I didn't come here to be rude. I wanted to express my opinion on some things. Zeus and I have had a conversation for quite a while in the past. But first of all, Hawk, I want to say thank you for serving our country. That means a lot to me. And I want to say thank you for what you did. As far as this shooter is concerned, from what I'm understanding, it was a M16. It wasn't an uh, the other rifle or the other pew pew that was being said that you said you have. Anyway,
The
uh,
AR.
yeah. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to get in trouble. An AR. Anyway,
Military rifle from that's military grade.
yeah, it just was an M16. I was told. Just so you all know, I have served at the Pentagon, so I am well aware of a lot of the situations that do go on, and I am well equipped with my weaponry as well here at the home. But as far as knowing my weaponry, I do know about that as well. Anyway, I wanted to comment on that gentleman that was earlier in the live that you had talked with quite a bit about white and black situations. Now,
You're talking about Snuggles?
yes. Okay, now, not to be racist when I say this, but I want to bring this out in the open. I am a white male. I am Irish descent, and I have had slavery in my family because I am Irish. Now, I do not hold a grudge towards anybody. I do not use the race card saying that I am affected in any way. I have had several times where I was um, approached because of my color in certain areas, and that was a different situation. But anyway, but because I'm Irish, I don't use the slavery thing to try to get ahead in life. I use my work abilities, my brain, and to show that I am a better person than that. Now, with that being said, I just wish that everybody in the United States would get over the slavery thing. And I'm not saying that there's not racism. There is racism. I'll be the first one to say that. But I wish everybody would just get over it and stop using the racist card and stop blaming things that happened hundreds of years ago and move ahead on with life. That's all I'm asking. I don't know why. Okay, for instance, Jewish people. Please explain to me why Jewish people are so hated right now. They've never done nothing to me. I've had nothing but good things to say about Jewish people. But why are they so like the Holocaust, and now the way they're being told they want to be gassed and everything else. That is so wrong. I don't care what color your skin is. That is wrong no matter who it comes from. Okay? So me being a white person, that affects me too, in a lot of ways, because I don't feel they're white as well, a lot of them. And I just feel that it's not fair for these colleges out here who have I would say no affiliation, some of them, with what's going on over there, and they support what happened over there towards Israel. I mean, they're against Israel, and I don't understand that thinking. Now, when it comes to our education, if that is an influence of what teachers are presenting towards our students in these colleges, this nation is heading towards a real bad situation. I really feel that that's where we're heading at, and it's getting worse and worse by each and every day. I'm retired, okay? I'm 58 years old, but in my lifetime, with the last 20 years, I have seen nothing but hatred and racism towards everybody and everyone, and being divided so badly. Now, with Biden being the president right now, I feel that he is too old. In my opinion, there should be an age limit. He should be, I would say 65 should be the age limit for a president, no matter which side you're on. Okay? I served under Bush and Obama, both Democrat and Republican administrations.
User. Are we still talking about the topic, or are you going into politics? Politics is my specialty, but I'm not doing that right now.
Oh, I realize that, but I just wanted to bring that up. But like I'm saying, as far as racism is concerned, I think people need to be better at treating somebody not because of their skin color, but by their actions. How you treat somebody. I treat somebody with decency. I give their shirt off my back to help them out in any way, shape, or form. And I have African Americans in my family. Matter of fact, I have 6 of them. They have been adopted by my sister. And they are grown young men and women that are respectful. They go to college. They've had an upbringing in a white family, but they're African American, which is great. And they treat everybody, and they have a good work ethic.
Okay.
Skin color doesn't matter in that situation. It's how they were treated, how they were brought up. That's my opinion on that. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. All right.
I
Now,
have
are you willing to
questions.
hear some
Wow, that was a lot.
feedback?
I
Are
have
you willing to hear
questions.
some? Are you willing to hear some feedback, user,
Can
from
can
people who?
can
Sure.
Hold
can I?
on.
We all
Before
want to be. We want to
All
win.
right,
I just want to make sure he's really in a space to listen, because
all
I
right.
know all kinds of alarm bells went off in my head when I heard what user was saying.
So
But
I'm
I'm
an
going
old
to
white
make
guy.
sure he's okay. Hold on. I want to make sure, user, are you willing to hear what people have to say to you?
Sure.
All right,
Okay. All
can I
right.
go first?
Let's
Because
start
I'm an
from the
old white
top, and
guy.
we'll work our
Hey.
way. We're going to start from the
Okay.
top,
Go ahead.
attacking, and then work our way down. And let's not go over too
I'm
many
sorry,
people.
Positivity. I have questions. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry I haven't
Okay.
spoken
So
yet.
Positivity, we're sorry.
hold on. So
But we have to
user
address this.
user
Okay, go
six
attacking.
so user 647. I'm an old white guy. I'm 64 years old. And I don't know where you grew up or what history you've seen or what you've seen on TV or read or whatever, but my God, you sound like one blind white person that I just never want to know. I mean, my God. I mean, your white privilege and my white privilege, it doesn't have to be imposed. It's just given to us because we got white skin. We can just walk into a store and we're looked at differently than any minority is looked at. Put on a hoodie, I'm looked at normal. A black person who goes in with a hoodie, they're watched no matter what they do. But what the hell are you talking about, my man? You're 58.
Sir, I've had guns pulled on me before by police officers being pulled over.
I don't really care about that.
That
But
skin,
you sound really like you're really ignorant to what's going on in life or paying
no,
attention to
skin
what the
color
hell's
has
going
no
on.
skin color is not always. I'm not saying always, but skin color is in my opinion, if a person judges you by that, they're wrong. Okay, I will say that. But when it comes to a person, it's also your actions too. So if I got pulled over, which I have several times,
Okay, so hold on here.
Well,
Hold on here for a
hold on,
second.
hold on, hold on,
wait a
hold
minute.
on. I
Let me
want to
finish.
get.
Let me
We
finish.
gotta move on.
So
We
I've
gotta
got
move
let me
I've
on.
got
finish.
pulled I've gotten pulled over several times,
Jesus Christ.
and I've had guns pulled on me.
Okay,
Okay,
so let me hold on for a second.
The hell are you doing?
When you see a black person, do you see his skin color?
What the fuck are you doing getting pulled over so many times with guns drawn?
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
but serious. When you see a colored person, a black person, do you see color? What do you see?
I see a person.
You don't see color?
No,
Well, see, that's wrong because their
why,
color is part of them who they are.
sir? You don't understand something. I have black people in my family. I don't look at.
Hold on for a
I'm
second.
not
Hawk,
Time
I'm not
out,
Hawk,
time
being
hold
out,
on,
offended.
time
hold
out.
on, hold on.
When I
Hawk,
see
Hawk,
them,
hold
I don't
on,
see
hold
them.
I
on.
saw a black person today. That doesn't mean
Hold on for a
anything.
second. Hawk,
Jesus Christ.
I saw you shake your head. Would you like to say in regards to what I said to that man about that?
Yeah, I
No,
just want to
we
say one
stay
thing.
and follow.
Irish were indentured servants. Here in America, black people were chattel slavery. Look those two things up. Go ahead, Hawk.
We still were
It, it,
slaves.
No,
hold on,
sir.
no, you
Wrong.
were not.
Can I
Stop
ask?
that.
Wrong.
Can I
Indentured
Hold
ask?
on,
servants
real
were
quick,
not slaves.
Can
They
I
real
had a
ask?
quick.
chance to pay off
Okay.
their debt and they were free to
And,
stop.
and
Can I
Zeus, I'm
ask
gonna try to hit the
user?
high point.
User,
Hold on,
Okay.
user.
how do you?
Hold on, user. Zeus,
You
I'm gonna try to hit the high points, but to answer everything he said would take me hours.
Right.
First of all,
And I want to
I
make sure
appreciate the
everybody
fact.
can speak.
I know that. I appreciate the fact that you thanked me for my service. Everything you said after that almost made me want to pass out. Right? There were so many microaggressions and dog whistles and all of the things that you said, starting with the whole Irish thing, and then the racism exists, whether you believe that or not. We have systemic racism in this country. It's built into the systems within this country. So whether we look at it or not, it's there and it's happening. And it's happening to people of color. And what attacking was trying to tell you is you have the privilege not to have to worry about it because they're not looking at you. I don't care how many times you got pulled over. They pulled you over because you did something, not because the color of your skin.
I
Period in a
I agree.
discussion.
I
Hold
agree.
on a second. Hold on a second. We listened to you for a long time. Let's go back to this whole education thing. And this also touched on some of the stuff that Felice was talking about. The educational system in this country has suppressed certain histories so that people don't know what's going on in this country. Somebody got some serious background noise,
That's
right?
probably my
So
music.
there are things about our history and this country's history that you don't know because they didn't teach it to you and you didn't take the time to go find it out for yourself, right? BIPOC people cannot be racist against white people, right? They may be prejudiced against them for whatever reason. They may be bigoted against them for whatever reason. Everybody has personal biases, but racism is a system, and those systems harm people. Me cussing you out because I don't like you because you white might hurt your feelings, but that's the worst that's going to happen. Racism, on the other hand, can get people killed, and it does on a regular basis. So you need to educate yourself on what that actually means. You're barely scraping the surface, and it goes a lot deeper than that. There are still corporations in this country today profiting off of slavery and racism. I'm gonna leave it there for now, Zeus.
All
I'm
right,
gonna
all
leave
right.
it there.
Now, Poetivity, did you want to speak?
I wanted to ask User how he knows he has black people in his family if he doesn't see color. Like,
Huh,
What now?
huh, huh.
how do you know you have black people in your family if you can't see color? Like,
Because if I told you I had two people in my family named Joshua and Jamie, and you didn't know what color they were, how are you going to know what I'm talking about?
Why would we matter?
That's my
but you
point.
said you
That's
don't
my
see
point.
color, and then you said you have black people in your family.
No,
It's like,
listen
how
to
do
me.
you know that if you can't
Quit
see
trying to flip
color?
the script. Okay, look. Okay, first of all, I'm trying to explain to you when I see my relatives, and even they are black. Okay, they were not born; they were adopted. Okay, now that has nothing to do with it. When I see them, I call them by their names, not what color they are. Okay, and when I
Well,
treat
I would
them
hope that. I hope you wouldn't do that.
exactly because I respect them and they respect me.
Wow.
Okay, so therefore I don't see color when I talk to them.
Well,
I see them as a
wait
name.
a second. So,
You're lying
so
because you
That's
used him
not.
as an example of why you're not prejudiced. Like that's
You're not
prejudice in and
understanding.
of
That's
Good
not
point, by the
itself.
true.
way.
That's not true, ma'am. What I'm trying to do, I can't show you my family over the phone because I'm telling you about them. So I have to explain the scenario so you understand where I'm coming from.
But user
But you
'Cause
647,
you're
saying that
user
that's
using them to
something
647.
kind of
that that's
prove
something that
your
we call
point, which is
tokenism.
opposite of
I'm
privilege.
sorry, Mike. Of course.
Wait, just because some family members adopted a couple of black boys doesn't make you non-racist, sir. Just saying.
Well,
And
not
thank
only
you for not saying, "Hey, black boy,
I
come
have,
here."
not
I
That
only
was
have,
really,
that,
wait a minute,
user
ma'am,
647.
I
User
have,
647. When you tell somebody over the phone, my grandson or son Jamie is playing ball right now. Does that person you're saying that you're saying his name? Are they saying is he black or white? Because
no,
you just made that comment.
because, because generally that person that I'm communicating with would know that person that I'm referring to
What do they
because
need to know?
You
What do
know,
they
right
need to know
now,
the color
user,
for?
right now, that pride that you feel in your heart for having black people in your family is racism. That's
no, it isn't.
racist.
How dare you
Yes,
say
it's
something like that?
racist. It's
No,
racist.
first of all, wait a minute.
User.
I don't
That's
have white,
racist.
I don't have white privilege. I don't. I work for everything I've
Yeah,
ever
you
gotten.
do.
Okay,
If
I
you're
have
white,
worked
you
for
have
everything
it.
in my life. No one's handed me nothing. I have worked.
That
I
has
have
nothing
worked.
to do
You're
with it, sir.
misusing the
That
word
has nothing to do with it. That's
privilege.
classism.
User,
That's
let
not
me ask you
racism. That
something.
has nothing to do
User,
with it.
User, let me ask you something. The hardest day of your life, those times where you were pulled over by the officer, where they were drawing weapons on you, imagine the difficulty of your life, everything that you've been through, and then add being a minority to it, add being black to it. Would you prefer, because I can tell you some horror stories, would you prefer to have been me in that circumstance?
To be honest with you, sir, I'm sorry that you had to go through. If you have to go through any of that because you the color of your skin,
Let
and
me
I would
give you an example, user. Let me
But
give
wait,
you
hold
an
on,
let
quick.
me
Just
speak.
user.
let him answer the
Let me
question.
speak. All
Go ahead.
right, before you interrupt me again. Sir, I'm very sorry and apologetic for anybody who's treated you wrongly because of your skin color. That is wrong, and I agree with you. That is wrong, and yes, I would be afraid if I was in your shoes. Yes, I would be.
Okay. Would you prefer to be me in that circumstance or prefer to be you?
Being honest with you, I prefer to be me because I'm not. I don't know what you've
That's
been.
privilege.
That's privilege.
That's white privilege. That's all it is.
That's
No,
We're
privilege.
not
did you hear what?
saying we're
Did
not
you just
saying
hear what I said?
we're not saying that you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. We're
No, no.
saying that the impacts of racism, which are real today, and racism is defined as, I'm assuming everybody in this group is more or less on the same page, is defined as power plus prejudice. So like someone said earlier, like, it's one thing for me to cuss you out, but if I cuss you out and it leads to I could end up unalived, that's a different scenario. I don't have power in that scenario. We can both be prejudiced, but if the society is set up in such a way that I don't have the power, that's racism. Okay, that's all it is. So when you're talking about racism, you're talking about privilege. We're not saying that you were born with a hedge fund. We're saying that you were born with the advantage of your skin color, which comes as your skin color being the norm. And so it's just like if you were living if you were right-handed and everything in society was set up left-handed, all the doorknobs, all the scissors, you had to adapt to everything because everything was set up for the other side, the other reality. That's what we're talking about.
Okay,
And so
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 how do we get away from where we are and get better at what we should be?
the
Oh,
first
I
thing
have
that
the answer.
well, can I just jump
Go
in?
ahead.
The
Sorry.
first thing that you need to do is recognize that it is systemic. Like, you need to admit that. Who was it that wrote the book? I got, it'll come to me in a second. It's a woman. D'Angelo.
Yes, Beverly D'Angelo. It's Beverly.
Thank you. Thank you. I would suggest you read that, because what you're experiencing, what you're feeling right now, is this sense of I don't want to embrace this difficulty, and you can't even begin to address the issue if you're not willing to see the issue. And so when people hear, like Hawk was taking offense, myself too, we're taking offense to the fact that you're saying that you don't see our color. We want you to see us for who we are and see it as beautiful. Take notice of it. When you're saying I don't see it, what you're really saying is I'm looking through you, and I want you to be normal like me. And this is how I see and perceive normality. And that gets defined certain ways. It means I dress a certain way, I talk a certain way, I'm expected to behave and move through society in certain ways. That's whiteness. Okay, so what it means is you have to recognize personally, you have to do some inner work and research and digging yourself to divest yourself of this system that you have been surrounded in. It's you are a fish and you are in water, and the water is the racism.
Right.
Racism isn't the racism isn't.
Can I try and explain white privilege to him for a second? Okay. So, have you ever been to a water slide user?
No, ma'am.
You've never been to a water slide.
No, I've
Have
been
you ever
by
been
them.
to like a lake?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been swimming in the lake?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever had to think, I can't go that weekend because I'm on my period?
Ma'am, I'm a male, so I wouldn't know how that would be experienced other than that's a woman's thing.
Right, right. Because you have male privilege.
All right.
So
Stuff you don't have to worry about.
you've
I'm
never
sorry.
had to think about it. You've never had to worry about it. You've never been calling in work because you've had cramps. That's male privilege. It's the same as white privilege, where it's something you've never had to experience, like being discriminated. You've never had to plan a trip and avoid certain towns because they're dangerous for you. You've never had to explain to your children that they're gonna, when they go to school, they might feel these terrible things coming from people. And I don't even know how that conversation goes because I do have white privilege. That's white privilege. You've never had to think about your color first or after you've pursued your dreams.
It's more
Okay.
simplistic.
Let me shock you on this one. This will shock you. Okay. As a young man, I lived in Hampton, Virginia. My dad was an Air Force pilot for United States Air Force. We attended school, and it was predominantly black attendance students, and my brothers and I were the minority in that school. Now, with that being said, we were treated very badly because of our skin color. There was white kids being thrown through glass windows. The last day of my school that I went to that school, they had to call the state police in because they surrounded the school, wouldn't let any of us white people out. My one buddy, Kirk, did go outside. They took a baseball bat and they beat that boy to the ground, put him in the hospital because of his skin color. So yes, I can say I have been in that scenario, and it was very scary.
But the scenario that you just gave us has nothing to do with the implied of white privilege. You just have to be you, your body itself, the skin. You don't have to use it, imply it, impose it. Don't have to do anything. You just have to be you, and the white privilege is there. You just have to acknowledge that you understand that you have white privilege compared to somebody in the black community. Sorry, it's there. I'm 64 years old. I understand that I have white privilege because of what my skin. I don't have to do a damn fucking thing. It's just there. You just have to realize it.
Well, I don't try to use it to my advantage. That's definitely wrong.
You're not hearing. You're not hearing the words. You're not hearing the words. You don't have to use it. It's just there. You don't have to do a damn thing. you just walk through it's automatic. It's just walk through a door. It's right there. You and I and Poet are looked at differently. We don't have to do a frickin' thing.
Okay,
It's
now
there.
I have a
Man,
Okay,
question.
hold on, real quick. User, real quick. I gotta say this before I forget it.
Go ahead.
The bringing up your black family members is something known as tokenizing, right? It's
Yes.
about proximity, right? Just because you have someone close to you, friend, family, or whatever that happens to be black, does not mean you understand the black experience.
I
But I would
agree.
say this to you. I would say this to you. If you believe 10% of what you've heard in the last few minutes, you need to consider how you view your black relatives. Because how you see them doesn't matter. How the rest of the world sees them matters a lot. And if
I
you're
agree.
not making
Well,
them
and
aware of that, but hold on a second, if you're not making them aware of that, life is going to be dangerous for them. Because if they walking around thinking they have your privilege, it's going to be very, very hard for them.
Okay,
well,
I agree. I agree.
and
100% on that.
not just that, but also I heard prejudice in your statement.
Oh
I
no.
heard prejudice in your statement, and the prejudice was they're articulate, they're this. Like if you know anything, like if you're hanging out with any black people, you know they're super smart and articulate, and they put us to shame. Like you are not giving credit for anything. You're just like, oh God, it's that there's prejudice in that statement. Like it's a
No, I meant
surprise.
that as a compliment, man, because I wanted to say that
No,
being said, wait a minute, that being said, they were raised by a white family, and they were, I mean, they had the best of everything, okay? And education and everything. Now, but that being said, it has nothing to do with their skin color. It is generally love and attention and,
Oh my
wait a minute,
God.
and the mother and the father and made sure they raised them as their own. And I feel that that was a very good thing. Not because of their skin color, they treated them as their children.
You know Condoleezza
I'd like to
Rice,
speak
right?
now.
Do you know who
I,
Condoleezza Rice is?
Yes, I know who she is. I worked for the
But
Pentagon.
she wasn't raised by a white family. How did she become so articulate? Just curious.
What's that got to do with? I didn't say that. I said they had the best of everything. I didn't say anything about skin color. And yes, I do know who she is.
Quick question. Do I sound articulate to you?
You sound very educated.
Okay. My brother over there, he's super educated. He's a lawyer.
Oh
I have
yeah,
a high
he is.
school degree.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have a high school degree. I
Okay.
left home at 17 and enlisted in the military.
Uh huh.
I spent 26 years in the military. I don't have a college degree. I can read a book. I can understand things.
Yeah.
But all of this stuff that you're saying about having the best of everything, whatever that means, and being educated and articulate, what does that mean?
That means that they had a head start in life where most people don't get that privilege.
Okay, there's a meme I have to show you. I don't care what you think their background was, their head start put them a step ahead of all the other black folks, which is still about 1,000 steps behind all the white folks, right? They didn't get a head start. I don't care what you think. They did not get a head start. I am so sorry, but that is incorrect
I would
because
like to
they live in
address
this country
user.
under. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Anita. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, you had to speak your piece. It's all good. Um, I wanted to say a couple of things. One of them was about your comment about Palestine and Israel. You can be against the Israeli war machine right now and still not be anti Semitic. You can be anti Hamas and anti terrorist antics and still be for Palestinian children getting aid and food and water and not having concrete dumped into the water supply. There's subtlety and there's nuance, and you have to realize that Palestinian Jews and Palestinian Arabs, Israeli Jews, Israeli Arabs, and Christians have all lived in the same area for literally thousands of years.
Okay.
what happens is you sounded like a talking point to me, and I know you didn't mean for it to come out that way, because I don't get a hateful, angry, like death to all type of vibe from you at all. At all. So I don't think you're a bad person. I think that perhaps you are a bit misguided and
Okay.
maybe have not gotten as much information as you could have to sort of help massage your view a little bit.
Okay. Let me ask you this, ma'am. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
When those people were massacred in Israel, okay, do you think that really happened, or you think that was false?
Oh no, there was an attack by
Okay.
a terrorist organization, by
Okay.
a terrorist organization out of a region.
Okay. I understand.
We have the same issues here in America where Klan come out and do heinous acts against people in our own nation. This
Okay.
is not new. Terrorists do bad things.
Ma'am, when over 1,000 people were massacred, including children, women and children, period, it wasn't about their skin color, it was about their religion. Okay?
Okay, stop, real quick, stop. First of all, hold on, I need you to know, first of all, there's a
Christian side
75,
there too.
80-year history. There's a 75, 80-year history for that area and what they're going through. You
That's
need to
right.
do that history first.
Okay, I
But the most
understand what you're
important
saying.
thing, okay, but hold on. But the most important thing, all three religions in that area are Abrahamic, right?
Yeah.
The people that you're talking about, they're also Semitic. So there's nothing anti-Semitic about talking against Israel when the other group is also Semitic. See,
All right.
they're making this about religion when it's not about religion.
It
It's
wasn't about
about a land
religion.
grab and power. It's not about religion at all.
They ended up demolishing a church that was housing Christians, Jews, and Muslims that was trying to keep the actual citizens of Israel safe, because churches are safe spaces, embassies are safe spaces. There are certain regions that people go so they can feel sanctuary. And again, a vile terrorist organization attacked a safe space.
Okay, I see that. I understand that.
Okay?
Now, can I ask
Hamas is anti-Israeli, not anti.
let me ask this is very important to me. Okay, now, when it comes to our border situation with all these people coming in from wherever country they're coming into, all right, I think they should have to go through the system, just like that other guy had said, and let every one of them come in and let them be vetted to find out where they come from, why they're here, and let them in the right way. I'm 100% for that. But when we let the open borders come in here and
We don't have open borders. Stop that.
There's no open borders.
There's no open borders.
What are you?
Biden has put in the most
Why are people
comprehensive
being
border
apprehended?
policies and
I will
procedures
I
of
will say
any
this.
administration.
I am a fourth generation American. My great grandfather served as a medic in World War I. I still get go back to your country by good old boys. So
Let
that's
me
as pale as I am and everything. I still get that kind of nonsense.
let me do this.
I will say this. I went to Mexico for work a couple of weeks ago. I have every bit of a US passport and like the card and everything. I was still asked questions. I was still checked and vetted before a citizen, was let back into the country. There is no open border, and
So
I
you're
can
telling me
personally attest to that.
Okay, you're telling me all those cameras that are showing the hundreds and hundreds of people coming across that river and through Texas and all that, that's all a lie?
Yeah, it's all loop. It is all loop.
It's a loop.
And what happens is it is made, the reason why it is put on there and it's presented to you guys in such a way through conservative media is to fearmonger and to play to insecurities about being, what was it? The replacement theory.
Right.
All of these horrible ideas and these horrible notions about others wanting to take from you. If I may, I'll give you an analogy. It is like there's a big plate of cookies. There's a big plate of cookies. Okay? There's a big, huge, wealthy person with 20 cookies in front of them. They give you one cookie. And they'll point to the person, the minority that's sitting next to you and say, he wants your cookie. Not, I'm hoarding this and using your insecurity against you so you turn against other people who are disenfranchised.
Okay, so what is the actual numbers of people who have came across here in the United States in the last 3 years?
Well, I think it's something around 2 million. I think it's about 2 million people total. But
Okay.
you have to understand that that's not just people who have crossed over
Right.
illegally. It is people who have come over to seek asylum. It is people who have work visas. It is people that have come in through air and seaports. It is not just this crisis at the southern border. And our real crisis of immigration comes from overstayed visas. And
Yeah,
a
I was
lot of
just
that
about to
comes
say that.
from Canada. A
We
lot of
used
that
to
comes
be.
from Western Europe.
And
A lot of it is not coming.
just so you know, user 8.3 million border crossings with Trump. Just so you know, those are the stats.
It doesn't.
We used to be.
I understand that, but I'm going to drop. I'm going to say two things. One, I know you haven't said this yet, but I'm going to give you a hint, user. Don't ever use the phrase "I have a black friend" when you're having a racial discussion. Don't ever say that.
I didn't.
I know. I said you haven't. I just wanted to give you a hint to not ever do that. White people like myself really hate that comment, and I'm sure people in the black community hate that too. So don't ever say that. And then I got a question. What color is Jesus?
He is olive. I know my shit. I'm not stupid.
All right, I'm going to drop so you can bring somebody else up, Zeus.
Okay, but wait a minute, sir.
All right.
Yeah. What do you got?
Before you go,
Yes.
I heard it was 400,000 that Trump had. That was it when he came in. That's what that's.
Well, what you heard, hold on, what you heard and what the
Oh.
statistics are going to be two different things. You need to research. Sorry.
What the
Border
reality
patrol
is.
numbers will give you.
Let me tell you what the
Real
reality
quick,
here on the ground.
a couple
in
of things
Texas.
on this border thing. First of all, the rules and regulations at the border being used currently are the same ones that was used by Trump. The border is not open. And what you described is basically what happens. Everybody that's coming across runs into Border Patrol and they're getting vetted, checked, and processed. And if they're allowed to stay, then they go into the system and they start their thing for asylum or whatever, or they're sent back. And they never tell you that. And one more thing, we have a mutual on here who has just driven cross country, right? He's from the East Coast, but he drove south and he drove straight across the Texas border all the way across to California. And guess what he saw? Nothing. There's not hundreds of people crossing the border. He drove the border from the edge of Texas, the eastern edge of Texas, all the way to California. And he didn't see any of that.
And let me tell you.
So if it was happening the way y'all think it's happening, he would have saw it somewhere along the way. Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California. He didn't see anything.
Hey, what about these people who went to what was that that they raised hell about? What was that up there in Massachusetts? Was that Massachusetts where they went to?
I can answer that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can answer that for you. Okay, so these were actually immigrants from Venezuela. They were in Texas. They were in line to receive aid, which the federal, not Texas, not the taxpayers of Texas, the federal government pays Texas in order to shelter, feed, and support people that are coming in through the southern border because they understand that there is a larger proportion of burden on those border states due to people coming over seeking asylum or looking for a new place to start anew. Those people were in line to receive aid in Texas. The governor of my state, because I'm in Florida, the great state of Florida, intentionally tricked people. Had a Spanish-speaking woman tell them, oh, we have jobs, there's opportunity, this is going to be so great for you and your family, trick them into hopping flights and getting sent over to Martha's Vineyard. In Massachusetts, where they don't get federal aid for shelter, for feeding, and for providing services for immigrants. What they did was a cruelty. They took people who were impoverished It took people who had no resources. This is not a Christian thing. They took people at their lowest point and just threw them somewhere because the cruelty is the point with many people in the GOP.
And let me just tell you what's happening here on the ground in Texas, because I'm in Texas. I can tell you. So first of all, we used to do immigration law for a period of about 3-4 years. I don't do it anymore. One of the things that came across our desk, there was a case where, long story short, a guy came from Mexico. He married, he was a U.S. Citizen by way of naturalization. He married a woman. She had a child already. The child was, I think, like 10 when he brought them over. And then they started the process of going through naturalization legally. At 21 years old, if you have not been approved, your application is automatically, if you're applying underneath the parent who has status, at 21 years old, your application expires and you have to renew again because you're considered an adult on your own. You're already an adult, you're already 18, but it's at 21. If it hasn't happened, you have to renew again. So when he turned 23, and I saw the letter, when he turned 23, he received the letter saying, we understand that you are 10 years old and would like to apply for citizenship under your father. That's how long the line is. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yeah, I do. I do.
So like that's the system. Okay, so that's the first level of it. Okay, the second level, when you're talking about borders, what you have to keep in mind is there is a lot of reason to scare you and to terrify you and people who look like you that the brown people are coming. You'll remember 2015 when we had the caravan. Everything was about the caravan, and then as soon as the election was over, nobody was talking about the caravan anymore. These people are still around. They're still there. And because of my work in immigration, like they said earlier, I can tell you that the majority of offenders when it comes to immigration are overstaying their visas. So it's not,
Okay.
it's people that are they're hopping on planes, they have passports, they have visas, get on a plane, they come over here, they visit New York. You know what? Think I'll stay. Not going to get back on the return flight. And that's easy enough to do. What
All
I
right,
want to
Robert.
do.
Robert, I have a question for you. A very important one. Okay. I have a gentleman of mine. He is white. He went to Africa. He married a black woman over there, and he has been trying to get his wife over here for the last 6 years from Africa, and she cannot get over here. They denied her to come over here. Is there any way you get around that?
If you're the line is the line, which is the problem. And I'll also say this, a little bit of a soapbox. That's the point. It's a deterrent effect. There's an intentional underfunding, understaffing, undermanagement. Like it's intentionally a quagmire in order to discourage lawful immigration. Like just period. It's not that we want them to come illegally. It's just that we don't want them. And so the system is set up in a way in order to discourage people from coming.
Yeah,
So
but
in
I'm
the
saying like his wife is black, and she's of African descent. He married her for the last 6 years. He's been trying desperately. He's been going through all kind of chains, trying to find lawyers or somebody to where he can legally bring his wife over here, but they keep denying it. And
it's
there he
welcome
sits.
welcome to the machinery. Welcome to the machine. The thing that I will never call it the justice system, I'll call it the legal system. I'll just call it the system, but that this is the machine and this is how the game is played. I want to go back to when you were talking earlier about having family members. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I want to say this so that you're educated on it. Okay. I'm not trying to beat you down on it. When you say I have family members that are black, or when the person that was saying earlier that, like, please don't ever say, like, I have friends that are black, like, those sound really close. What you're doing, they call it tokenism. That's Hawk is right on point, but it's also you're treating them as human shields. You're treating them as commodities. What you're doing is you're saying, I can't. So what you start with the framework in your mind. I can't be racist because in my heart, I personally believe X, Y, and Z. And you're neglecting to realize that racism is just as much about what you do and what you are aligned with and what you endorse and what you are a part of, because it's power plus prejudice, as much as what you feel internally in your heart where no one else can see it. So what ends
Okay.
up happening is you end up in these discussions and you say, I don't feel like a racist, so therefore I can't be racist. And the problem is, so then you do something like say, because I have black family members in my family. You didn't actually say because, but you can end up saying something like, I have black family members. I have empathy. Because of the uniqueness of my situation, I have these people in my life. So therefore that protects me. It sanitizes me. It's a shield that protects me, a token, a talisman that protects me from being racist. And
Okay,
that,
Robert, I have a son-in-law who is black, and my stepdaughter is white. They had a child, and he is dark complected. So in your opinion, is he black? Is he white? Or what is it? How would you describe him? The
so
grandson.
it's kind of not the point, right? Like, I mean, like and I will answer your question directly, but it's kind of not the point. So like the direct answer is like he appears to be black. He, according to the government, according to, if you go back to, we have vestiges of what they call the one drop rule that are still in activity today in our law. It still shows up. So for all intents and purposes isn't really a phrase, but like he's black. I mean, he just is. But even beyond that, that's not the point, because I mean, he could be black and be white presenting. So it's, in terms of the relevance for our discussion, for our purposes, whether he is white presenting because he is just so light skinned that he can pass as white, or whether he's as dark as me, or whether he's not, like, the point is we want you to see him for the whole of who he is. And that includes not just the content of his character, but it also includes the external. It includes the cultural. It includes the language. It includes, like, I mean, Anita is from a family that has Latino descent. And so, it's her language and the music and the food and like the culture, like todas las cosas de la gente. So it's all relevant to who she is. Let me show you another example. I'm assuming that when you look at the people in this panel, you see gender, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it's just as external and just as important an aspect of the identity of the people that are here in this room as color. That's all I gotta say.
Now I have one other question for you. I have one other question.
Hold on. Before you ask that question, I want to add to what Robert just said to you. That grandchild is going to have it bad on both sides, because the white community is not going to fully accept them, and the black community won't fully accept him either. Right. So y'all need to do a lot of talking as you're raising that child, because that child is going to have it a little rough on both sides because they're in the middle. They're biracial.
Okay. Yep. Now I have one question. Now, when I say this, please don't take this as racist when I say this.
Well, you probably should think about it before you say it.
My grandson came to the house here one day, and his mother dropped him off. They were listening to a rap song on the radio, and it was blasting, and it was saying the N word several times. Well, he came in here repeating that word, and I told him we don't use that word in this house. I said, that's number one. I said, number two, that's degrading you. I said, you are not that person. So I spoke with him over this and over this several times. So when he got back in the car with his mother, of course, she's white. I made the comment to her. I said, look, you don't need to be doing this to him, because you are putting him into a category. It's not right. You're pushing that narrative on that young man when it's not fair to him. I said, you should think about what you're doing. And she got mad at me. And the father, he gets in there and he does the same thing. He starts playing that music the same way. And then it just reverbs right back to the same old thing. Now,
hey, user, can I interrupt you? So
yeah.
I think a better approach would have been, hey, the language that he was using from that song, maybe we should, not let him listen to the song, right? But what category do you mean? What category is it putting him into? Because from what I gathered from you, you are associating the N word to blacks. And the
No.
fact that he is, I'm telling you what I gathered from hearing you speak.
Okay.
You are equating his black side because he's biracial, because you said it's putting him into a category. What did you mean by category, sir?
I meant
Because
by
to me it sounded like you're equating him, the N word, to the black side of him.
no. What I meant by was how you express yourself to others is how you're accepted.
Okay,
Robert, you want to answer
I can flow
that?
with that. Go ahead, Hawk. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, sir.
No. You're good. You're good. I want if Robert has something to say, but this is how I would handle it, right? The three of us that you see in here, and Zeus, who is off screen or whatever, we're older. I'm old enough to know when we use that word on a regular, right? We no
Hmm.
longer do that for the most part. But from your grandchild's perspective, that music is simply part of his culture. So if you had anything to say at all, you shouldn't have said anything to him off the bat. You should have went to his parents and explained to them your confusion and see where they were coming from first, right? And
All right.
then maybe the family, his mother and father, could have had a conversation with him about how to be careful using that word, however he used it.
You
But
better
that's
get
it.
away.
That music is part of his culture. And basically what you told him is you don't need that culture.
No.
And
He was sent home from school one day because he was doing that same thing. That's the
So,
problem.
I mean, again, what Hawk says, I would just echo it. And I mean, it's a conversation for his parents. He has parents, and so they're there. That's their role, right? And so, like, you're talking to them could illuminate for you the perspective that they have and put you at ease about it. But the other thing is this: I I feel like what we're teetering on is kind of the age old question of why can they say it and I can't? Or why is it offensive here, but it's not offensive there? And what I'll just say to that is, and I just feel like that's what's behind the question, behind the question. And what I would just say to that is this, like, you'll hear women, and this is not original to me. I heard someone say this in some sort of YouTube video. You will hear women from time to time joke with one another, and they'll say, "B," like, "I wish you would, B. Look at you. Look at this. B looks good today." Like, I mean, they just, the word that I'm saying. Like, they'll
Yeah.
use that word in an
but
endearing
you
way
think
with one another.
See, I
I
think
do
that's
not. I
disrespectful.
I I do not feel the need to opine that
Okay, but see,
when they
that's
wait.
disrespectful
No, no,
though.
no, 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 no. What
but
I need you to understand is within their culture, within their context, within their time, it means something specific to them that is unique to them that they have embraced. You don't understand it, and I'm sorry, you don't need to understand it. It's not for
I
you.
guess because of my
It's
age.
not. Wait,
It,
I
no, it's
understand.
not your age
I'm
because I'm
it,
older than you.
right. Like, I'm 40 mumble years old. I don't know how old y'all are, but I'm
I'm
the girls are.
62. I'll say it
So,
proud.
I'm
but
50.
what I'm
Here's
trying
the
to
thing,
say is
Robert.
it's not every conversation is for us. Not every conversation is for
I'm,
me. So, like, if my wife is clowning around with other girls and they're using the B word back and forth, I'm not going to jump in. Like, that's not my lane. That is not my lane.
Okay, I understand that, but I see young men. When I see a young man call a woman that word, the B word, that to me is just total disrespectful. I don't
That's
care
a
what color.
different context. That's a
but
He's
different
that's yeah,
context.
disrespectful.
that's different. But that's different than what he said. Look, and
Yeah.
Robert can speak to this better than me. But this all boils down to communication. There's an old saying: "Read the room," right? And you're
Uh,
not reading the room at all, right? Depending
I,
upon who's having the conversation and what they're discussing, maybe that's not a conversation you need to interject yourself into.
you're right.
Sometimes you should,
Okay.
sometimes you shouldn't.
and to that
I wanted
point
to say
of
two
this
things. At first, Robert, I'm stealing 40 mumble. Just accept that it's I've snatched that right out from your hand.
I did like that.
User,
Yeah.
I understand. So I like to Robert's point. I come from a Latin heritage, and from our Latin heritage, it takes a village. So I understand your grandchild saying some crazy stuff at school that they're not supposed to, being of concern, and then going and saying, "Hey, you can't do that. You got to do better than that." You have a conversation with them.
And
But when you sort of, because you don't understand the culture, I think you miss part of the nuance that's associated with it. I think that you have an opportunity now that you've had this conversation, now you have an opportunity to be like, you speak to your stepdaughter and be like, I want to understand because I love my grandson. I want to be the best, most supportive grandpa that I can. How can I help? How can I contribute to making him the most healthy, well-rounded person possible? And you have a conversation with your family.
Yeah.
I have tried that, and I told my grandson I love him all the time.
I want to go one step further, user. I want you to go get that CD or whatever it is and hit play and listen to it. And then you
Let me
come talk to me about what you heard on that rap CD, and then I'm going to tell you what you should have heard versus what you thought you heard. How about that?
I'll translate it.
Because,
Yep, that's a great
yeah,
idea. That's an awesome offer.
because
So
you might be missing out on some relevant information that's impacting your grandson. Just like you used to listen to music when you were a kid, he's listening to it and he's having a good time.
and let me
Hey,
just
user.
say, let me
So,
just say
user,
this because
I've listened.
let me say this and then I gotta go. Y'all have been so I appreciate being here so long. User, I'll just say this, like talking about the issue of whiteness again. I recommend White Privilege, Robin DiAngelo's book. Okay, when you are jumping out of your lane in order to go talk to him, you're getting into other folks' business. That's you've seen the videos here on this app that show Karens that show up at the pool and they want to throw somebody out the pool. They're not minding their business and they're like, "Do you have permission to be here? Why are you filming here? Why are you doing it?" It's what that is. That is that sense of paternalism, that sense of like, I have to take control of this situation. That is a form of whiteness. It's a
Well,
form of
Robert, let me explain something to you real quick before you say anything else. Because when I first got married to my wife, for the first 5 years that I lived in this household, I raised that young man because the father was not around.
Okay.
So I did my
Okay.
best to raise him as my own.
That's fine, but be that as it may, at this point in time, he has guardians.
Yes,
So
he does.
right.
Well, they're
So
divorced. They're divorced now, but they recently got divorced.
yeah, but I mean, you have relationship with him. That's good. You know what would also be good is to take the posture of, hey, I want to learn. Tell me about the song you were listening to. And I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to, in parentheses, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to add my opinion to it. I'm not going to, I'm just going to learn here. And then I'm going to go read up about that group. And then I'm going to go talk to people like Sabadura. And then I'm going to go, talk to the parents. And then, so, rather than taking the authoritarian role, rather than policing, right? That is a form of whiteness. That is, I have an opinion about what's right, how it should go down, and I'm going to impose that on someone else that's from another group because my perspective is the correct perspective.
Okay,
With that, I gotta go.
Robert, I respect that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all for the conversation. Love you.
Hey, Robert, we'll holler at you later, brother. User,
Yeah.
so
Have a good evening, sir.
I've been listening for the last
All right,
hour.
Robert.
I've been listening for the last hour of the panel, really been very patient with you and have been educating you. I need to hear from your mouth, what have you learned? Because honestly, even though you're asking a lot of questions, I'm still getting the feeling that you haven't learned anything.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the last hour has been a waste.
No, I've learned a lot because I'm glad that we had this conversation because you all have brought up sides that I never looked at, and I'm going to have reevaluate a lot of my thinking and the way I handle things. So Thank you for all who've been patient with me and let me know and enlighten me on certain things that I may not have been aware of. I'm going to try to be a better person and a mentor from here on out. And understanding y'all's point of view did help quite a bit. Thank you.
Now, we've been
Well,
calling you
I
user.
hope
Is there a
I
name we
hope
can call you besides user?
My name is Paul.
Paul. Paul, I do want to thank you for being here as long as you have. You have a lot of growth to do, but I can confirm, I think, with everyone here that you have a good heart. You're willing to listen. You've been highly respectful, highly open-minded. You do have a lot of things, and I understand. You know that the N word is bad, and you know that the B word is bad, and nobody should say it. But there are reasons that people use the word. And so it's just getting more of cultural appropriations and things like that, that you understand where it comes from, what it is. And I think listening to Black spaces, like go and listen, just stay in the comments, and just listen to them, ask questions. I know that these gentlemen, Hawk, Zeus, Nutty, they would all be so happy to continue this conversation with you at any point. And, welcome the open chat. They live to educate so that we can solve a lot of the racism issues that we have in our country. They are driven to do such a thing. And just being open-minded is well, he's willing to listen, is what I mean by that. Okay. So maybe
If I
open-minded
can
is
just
not the right word, but he is willing to
He's been
listen.
willing to listen. He's
Yeah.
been willing to
Yes.
listen compared to the last
Yes.
person I had
Absolutely.
conversation
So I
with.
just wanted to say good
It's
job, Paul.
probably
Paul,
it's probably a terrible thing. Like he's started on the road to being the dreaded woke.
Well, you know what? I
You know
mean, to be honest with you, and I'm not saying this is true with everybody, but when I go on to some of these lives, and when I encounter Democrats, oh my God, I get my butt tore up every chance they. Oh my, it's like a free
but
for all on
but
me.
but 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 Paul, part of that, like I said before, it's communication.
Yeah,
How you say what you say, the tone in what you say. If you get defensive in any way, you kind of bring some of that on yourself,
you're right.
right? So,
You're right.
like I think it was Shay that was talking a minute ago. If you take her advice and you go into some of these black spaces, don't say jack. Just sit in the chat and listen to what they're saying and how they're saying it. First of all, get to understand the rhythm of how we talk, because everybody talks a little different,
You're right.
right? So
You're
get
right.
that first, and then listen to the things that they say. Because not to be funny, and I don't mean to be negative when I say this, but you're coming from a white world, a white viewpoint, a white lens, if you will,
Lily.
right?
Lily.
And the people that you're talking to, they don't have that same lens. And one of my mutuals down in the chat asked me to reiterate something to you, and it's along the same lines of something that I said earlier, going back to your grandchild. But he's saying it a little bit more succinctly. What you did in that situation was projection, right? That word made you
Lily.
uncomfortable, so you projected that uncomfortableness onto your grandchild. Instead of trying to figure out where he was come from, you just projected how you felt onto him, right?
Yeah.
And so what you want to do in those situations is step back and see where he's coming from. That never crossed your mind.
When I did say that to my grandson, I just didn't want him to project a bad image on himself towards others. That's what I was trying to project. Can I step in on that one?
Yes, Mr. Wick, how you
Mr. Wick,
doing?
how you doing?
All right, how y'all doing?
All
Nutty,
right.
haven't seen you in a while, big dog. Um, I've been listening to the conversation, and is it you not? You're saying you don't want him to project. Is it that you are? It, is the fear that is how people view you about viewing your grandson? No,
Because
sir, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. No,
because some
I just, when he grows up and goes out in this world on his own, I'm not going to be around to help guide him as a mentor. And when I want to try to instill as much, respect and love towards others and himself as well, that's what my main objection is, to try to do. It's not that I'm trying to put an iron fist down on him and tell him, no, you can't do this. I'm just trying to make him be a better person. That's all I can say. Well,
It comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of protection.
You know,
no,
I have a lot of grandkids, and you have one job. You have one job with grandkids, and that is to play with them and love
Get him
them
in the head. Yeah.
unconditionally. You
Not in
know?
my not in my house.
Mr. Wick,
You catch those hands in my grandma's house. No, no, no. In my grandma's
finish
house, we were educated. We were taught things. We were scolded if necessary. There was discipline. It was a very different place than what you're describing. Yes, my
Oh
mother is
man,
now super
I just love
smoking
my
cookies and sunshine with
grandkids.
my
Like
kids.
we play, we do art, we do puppet shows, we do all kinds of
This
stuff. We just
generation of grandparents. Yes, ma'am. My grandparents? No, ma'am. Mm-mm. Nope.
As
Mr. Wick,
you
you
say,
got
as you say in the
Mr. Wick,
morning show, no lies detected, Anita. No lies detected.
I'm just all I'm just saying is, are you worried? My thing is, are you worried about the reflection of you? If someone in town said, "Hey, I heard your grandson being like this," and do you feel that's a reflection of you? Is what I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I would be upset with it for the fact that he did what he did, and I would probably bring it up to his mother to correct the situation because that was wrong for him to do that. So I'm That's like it. I said, That's my point. What I'm trying to get is the music he's going to listen to is the music he's going to listen to, and you can't allow that reflection reflect upon you. So I mean, what I'm saying is it's still kind of a controlling point that you're not that the cultural controlling point that you're not understanding. But I do say this, and because I'm not here, I wasn't in the. I mean, I've been in listening to the whole conversation. I would say that you are starting to build a pseudo foundation. It will take some time. I mean, as Shay said, even though she forgot about me being black, Shay, thank you very much. Um, it's going to take some time, and coming from a biracial child, I came from in the '70s, so it's way harder in the '70s than it is now. oh, I Way agree to that. harder. I do. I definitely agree to that because back in it was pretty much not accepted. I will say that you're right. Right. I had to hide. As I always tell everybody, I was too white to be black and too black to be white.
I
So,
said that. Yep.
and
Yep.
and your grandson is going to one day have to pick a side, even though you may not want him to. It's just that's just the way it happens. Everybody can say, "Well, I'm 60 years old. I've never picked a side." The hell they haven't. It's just the way it falls. It's the way it falls, and it doesn't mean that they're turning their back to one or another. It's just the strength of where they have, their family background is, Yeah. and who supports them the most, and where their comfort zone is. Yeah. So, I'm a black man. Is all I. And I think Hawk always says it. Nutty says it. Shay. These people I do know. The other ones I don't know, but I did listen to Nita and everything. They make this short because I'm taking too long. Um, just sit down, listen to the music. It may hurt your ears somewhat. I mean, it's just what it is. I'm 52. I can't stand the new rap, but just listen to his Okay. music. I don't feel so Just listen to bad.
No.
yeah. I mean, we listen to the old rap. We listen Yeah. to the old
Oh yeah,
NWA rap. That's the rap that we listen to.
absolutely.
So No, don't get me yeah, wrong. I like rap. I like rap, but
Mr.
I
Wick,
just I don't like do it too. when those words are being projected in it. That's all.
hey Wick,
Well,
you
the words
don't know
have a
nothing about no
meaning to it.
NWA.
Well,
Hey,
NWA
Nutty,
is
do
gonna
you have
hurt
any
your ears.
books you would recommend for Paul to read if you would be open to reading such? People were making a suggestion for you to do that, Nutty.
Um,
Marcus Garvey.
yeah, I do have
Ooh,
a couple of
Marcus
them.
Garvey.
I'll DM.
Yeah, Marcus Garvey's like the
Well,
best.
one of them is white fragility.
Ooh, that's a good
Yes, I
one.
agree.
Can I
That's
ask?
probably one of
Can
the
I ask an
greatest.
honest question? And
Hey, yeah, hold on, user, hold on. I forgot the name of the author, but it's White Fragility. All you have to do is Google it; it'll come up. That book is a very good book, and it's an easy read,
Yeah.
and it won't take you long to read it at all.
I am.
If you're truly open, um,
That's weird.
if you can't find it, you can DM me.
Poet mute.
I'll send you my copy.
Amazon has it.
A little bit.
what's it
Amazon
called
has it.
again?
So to get the next.
White
Poet
White
Fragility.
mute.
fragility.
White fertility.
I didn't expect you to say
Fragility.
I didn't make
Get a
dinner.
little bit
Yeah.
of
Oops.
I gotta come home.
I didn't.
So this seems like it was a pretty good conversation,
Do you want to
right?
go?
Ooh, that's juice.
Do you want to
Zeus,
go?
can
Yeah.
you mute Poet? She's not listening. Thank you, sir.
Yes. I said it seems like we had a nice, constructive dialogue
Hey,
with
hey,
this
Zeus.
conversation.
Zeus.
Yes.
I
Can you
love
hear
you,
me?
brother, but man, you irritate me sometimes when I listen to you. When you smash all
That's
when
good.
you smash all of us Republicans, and oh my gosh, I sit here and I get so upset.
But that's good, Paul. Listen. All it is being willing to listen to a different perspective.
Yeah,
That's how we grow as human beings.
yeah, true.
I mean, I listen to Nutty. I'm never going to walk a day in his shoes, but I listen to him. I value his opinions. Things I have to hear, what he's experienced makes me uncomfortable. But we have to be uncomfortable in order to grow. That's the only way we grow.
Very true.
You learn not to walk. You put night lights in your room because that one night you didn't. You stubbed your toe and it hurt like hell, right?
Yeah.
Well
And
said.
you learn through pain. You learn through being uncomfortable. And just be willing, Paul. And that's the thing I will give you credit for. You are sitting in here asking questions,
Yeah.
and that's huge. That's huge to you, for as any of us as people. To be able to have a dialogue with you for as long as we have, with no name calling,
No.
no anger, no anything. You literally are listening, and I will value that. And so keep coming into Susan's room, because you have to be uncomfortable to understand what we're trying to say, as people that just don't understand what's going on with our country, with the MAGA, with the support of Donald Trump. We'll never understand this. And as a historian, I can tell you it's scary as hell what's going on. It is a repeat of the rise of fascism and nationalism that we experienced in the early 1900s. It is not funny. And for you guys to sit here and think, oh, well, but I don't like the wokeness going on. I just don't like the border. All that's great. That has nothing to do with who Donald J. Trump, what he will do if he ever gets back in the office again.
Ma'am, can I ask
That
you
would be
one
the
question?
least of your concerns.
Can I ask you one question that's that confuses the heck out of me? These young kids today identifying themselves as animals and whatever else.
That's such a
Where is
That
that
doesn't
coming
matter.
from?
listen.
It doesn't.
Look, it doesn't. And let me just say, I was a high school history teacher for many years. If you remember, Paul, I'm 52. If you remember, we were kids. There was always fads, right? There was
Yeah,
always fads.
yeah.
And I remember the days when rock and roll, and we would put the vinyls on, and we'd play it backwards, and we thought it was satanic, messages, and that was a fad. Then there was the Walkman, and that was a fad, and everybody had that, and
Furries.
the boom boxes, and we had
Yeah.
fads.
Are you
These
talking about
things are
furries?
fads. These
Yes,
things are
he is.
fads. They're figuring themselves out. They're social media now. They're getting information faster than we ever did. Because I didn't learn how to do things unless so and so next door told me, and I rode my bike over to their house. Things are just faster, Paul, but just know that it's fads. And that is such a minute amount of people that are even expressing this. I'm raising teenagers. None of my kids want to act like an animal and all that. So just understand that that's what's kind of going on. And I think some of those kids that are doing that, they're looking for attention. They probably have problems at home. They don't have people talking to them. They got two working parents or no parents or whatever their situation is. A lot of it is attention seeking, Paul. And just know that, okay? Again, Donald Trump getting back in the White House, I don't care if a person wants to be a porcupine. We need to understand there's so much bigger issues that we will be faced with. And please read Project 2025. If you read anything so that you understand why Zeus is so brutal on his show against MAGA. This is why he's doing this. Okay.
And I'd like to say, I'm also
there's a
parent of teenagers
Go ahead.
that what we make a big deal
They're
out of
actually
becomes
called
a big deal.
they're actually called furries. They are
Well,
there's a village in San Diego apartment complex, several complexes that actually where adults do dress up as furries. It's a different world. Is all I can say. It's their
it's
world.
like people that dress up for Comic Con and like wear their Star Trek uniform everywhere. Like you're gonna find that the small pockets of people. But from my experience as being, you guys are, you already have grandchildren. As my experience from teens now, what you make a very big deal out of becomes a big deal.
Oh yeah.
If you make a fight about what they're eating, meal times become a battle.
Mm-hmm. All right, I want to ask both you ladies a question. This gets me every time. I am all about piercings, I guess in the ears and whatnot. My thing is when these women put that big bull nose thing on the bottom of their nose and walk around and hangs down to their lip. I'm sorry, but that is the most disgusting looking thing on a woman that I've ever seen. I don't
What town do you live in, user? What town do you live in?
Yeah, no, I know. I have friends that have like the septum piercing, and you know what? It's not for me, but if it makes them happy, I could not possibly care less. It's something they're doing to their own body. They're adults. I will not allow my children to do any kinds of bodily modification before the age of 18. No tattoos, no piercing. I mean, like ears, but no piercing that of any place other than ears. No tattoos, no breast implants, no reassignment of anything. That's how I run my queendom as a single parent.
Now, I will
It
say,
doesn't work for everybody.
okay, now I will say this. When a young lady puts a little diamond in her nostril, on the outside of her nostril, I think it's kind of cute in a way. But when it comes to the others, oh my God, they go too far.
But Paul, what you have to understand is, what you have to understand first is one, that's all personal preference.
Yeah.
So what's ugly to me could be gorgeous to you and vice versa. But what the overall of what you're talking about is just the next fad. Think about this. 30 years ago, almost nobody had tattoos unless they were in the military or was in prison or something, right?
That's very
Now
true,
there's
very true.
grandmothers with tattoos. Everybody has tattoos.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
it's just a fad. We're changing. We change all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, my advice to you is to work on not being so judgmental. You really shouldn't be worried about what other people do with their own bodies. It really isn't that big of a deal because you choose not to, that's fine. But because someone else chooses to, that should be fine as well. How would you like for someone to judge you because you have no piercings? Because you have no tattoos?
I just feel bad for them as other people will take a look at that and judge them. And that may not.
But you're the one judging, Paul.
No. Don't get me wrong. I feel bad for that person because they're doing something to themselves to make them to take the beauty away from them. I feel in a way. I mean,
but you need to understand.
That's a personal preference.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead,
and listen, let me tell you. I'm going to try to tell you a very brief story. I was a history teacher, right? I had this young man that he was switched into my class, and he came in. He literally had he was a redheaded young man. He had a mohawk. He had the black jeans, the Metallica t-shirts. He had the chains. He had everything. He walked into my classroom. In my head, quietly, I said, "Oh shit!" Right? I thought this kid, by the way he looked, was going to be a bad kid, right? So he sat basically at the front of one of the half breakups in the desks and kind of went around the room. And I handed him some papers and said, "Can you hand them back?" And he said, "Yes, ma'am." And inside I thought, oh, shit, okay, didn't expect that. Anyway, long story short, he turned out to be one of the sweetest young men, just adored him to death, right? And one day after school, he had to come and he had to retake a quiz. He was absent. And I said, "Hey, what was going on?" He said, "Well, my mom's really sick. I have a single mom and my sister, and I'm trying to get a job." And he was really, really angry. I could tell he was having a problem. And he said, "Nobody will hire me because of my looks." And I just think that's absolutely ridiculous. And, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. And he was just,
I was just going to say that.
Right. And so I said, "Listen, Michael, I get it. And that is a world we would all love to live in. But Michael, that's not the world we live in. Okay. And that is something you're going to have to understand. Is your mohawk more important than you getting a job and helping your mother? This is where you have to start making decisions that people do, because you're sacking groceries for a little old grandma that's just trying to get her little denture creams and her tomatoes, and you might scare the heck out of her. So as a manager of a grocery store, they're not going to hire you, not because they don't think you're a good hard worker or a human being, but because they have to run a store so that customers feel all good. That's why people have uniforms. That's why things happen. It's a uniformity in the workplace. So I went on and did all that. And he just, was just, all that stuff. Well, one day he came in and he was all cleaned up. He had cut his hair and was wearing, I think, even some khakis, about made me fall over. And he said, "I got a job." And I said, "How does that make you feel?" And he said, "I feel really good." And I said, "This is the lesson that you take through life. You're right. The world should operate that way, Michael, but it doesn't. And that is the bottom line." And so, Paul, I understand what you're saying, my friend. But at the same time, it is the world that they need to express and that they have to carry through their life. And at some point, hopefully they'll have someone in their life will say, "Well, you're not getting forward in life because people aren't going to want to have you in a business setting." I had a cousin that got a bunch of tattoos all over, and she regretted it because she ended up trying to get professional jobs. And I said, it is what it is. But these are things that people have to learn on their own, Paul. It's not for you to judge or worry about. So.
Very well put. Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
But I would also add a little bit of a caveat too. That's changing every day. More and more people in professional jobs have tattoos all over and different. That's changing all the time. It doesn't hurt today like it did 10 years ago
Yeah,
or
it's
15
more
years
accepting.
ago.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
more accepting.
Because more people are doing it.
Yeah,
Right?
I've noticed that in the last 10 years that a lot of the younger generations getting tattoos. I noticed that.
Duty Omnipotent. Thank you for having me up. Shay, Hawk, Paul, Mr. Wick. It was a pleasure meeting and speaking with
All
all of
right,
you.
Anita.
I followed all. Have a great night. Thank you.
You all do
All
the same.
right, see ya. Well,
All right,
let's put
I'm
a
out of here
pin in
too,
it.
y'all. God
Let's put a
bless.
pin
Have a
in
good
it.
evening.
Yes.
Have a good evening.
All right.
Hey,
Well,
Hawk,
that was
I love you, brother. I think you remind me of a friend of mine I used to work with. I loved him to death. He was like a father. He was like a father figure.
Why
He
you
was
got to go there, Mr. Wick?
he was like a father figure to me. And his name was Dave. Okay, you're listening. His name was Dave, and I tell you what, I miss that guy so much. He was a great mentor. I loved him to death.
Okay. All right. That
Have
means
you
you're used to
served?
listening to black folks give a little bit of examples of stuff. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Well, he was a black man. He served in the Navy too.
Okay.
So, but like I said, I loved him to death. I worked with him for almost 20 years, and I loved him to death. So his name was Dave Saperton.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Okay, listen, this broadcast was a very special one, ladies and gentlemen, but I gotta get up out of here.
I know you
It's
do.
my bedtime.
All right. You all have a good one. Thank you.
Paul, I appreciate you, Paul. Listen, Paul, I appreciate you. You're one of the strongest people I've seen from the MAGA camp come into this live and really just sit down here and listen. So
absolutely.
I've never seen it before, but you have my respect, champ.
Keep
All right,
coming
love
in,
all
Paul.
of you. Thank
Keep
you,
asking
Shay. Thank you,
questions.
Hawk. Thank you, Mr. Wick. Yes,
All
thank
right.
you, all of you who tuned in tonight.
Thanks, dudes.
Thank
All
you,
right. Love you
You too,
guys.
Zeus.
Have
Mr.
a good
Wick.
night.
Yes.
Thank you,
Everyone have
Hawk,
a great
Mr.
rest of your
Wick.
night.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
everyone.
Later, everybody.
Bye, everybody.